timing on the fucking downplay of the music. Welcome to the 20-somethingth edition of Slamcast, live on the Retro Unlim YouTube page. Starting strong, real fast. We want to make this podcast look real strong.
Oh my god!
I'm Brandon Liggian.
That podcast has a family, damn it!
This podcast does have a family. Oh, as you couldn't tell, I'm Brandon Liggian. As always, joined by the Billy Gunn to my Road Dogg, the Triple H to my Shawn Michaels, the Nash to my, or the Hall to my Nash. Or am I Hall or am I Nash?
You're Hall, I'm Nash, I'm Shawn, you're Trips. Because I think
the Bill Alfonso to my Rob Van Dam.
You give me that one.
This is Michael Burhan.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm also the man petitioning to go against CM Punk in his first UFC match. I think it's a match made in heaven. I think
you would get killed.
I would kill him. Are you serious?
You would get killed.
I have an MMA background. I have competed against guys, and also the fact is, Mr. CM Punk has had a rebuilt knee. Mr. CM Punk has had
Anyway.
I'm just saying, Michael Burhan versus CM Punk needs to happen. I'm at his skill level, so to speak.
You're like, get on the list, because you're probably like the 400th person that wants to fight him. We'll talk about that, though, I'm sure. I mean, lovely how I said we weren't going to talk about CM Punk anymore, yet he finds a way to get himself into this podcast yet again.
He's outdid Kim Kardashian. He's beaten the internet, not once, but he's broken the internet twice.
CM Punk is the Kim Kardashian of wrestling.
He is, I think, without the posterior, of course, because you know,
equal number of people hate him and equal number of people love him.
And also the fact he's not married to an angry black man. He's married to one of the hottest divas in wrestling, AJ Lee. So that's another reason to hate him. And
anyway,
also you guys, we're going to be having the Ask Him.
For the President of the United States.
Yeah, we're going to have the Ask Him. We're going to have loads of other things going on. We're going to be talking a lot about Next R Evolution. And this, take note to
Revolution. Just call it Revolution, because
well, to any company out there,
I call it
TNA,
epic.
To Dixie Carter, really, you should have this show playing constantly in the back of the locker room to show you exactly how you book an independent wrestling company. And I call it independent because it is independent from the WWE. It's on a very minuscule budget as well, and it doesn't tour. It's not like running around to all these stadiums. It's located in a fixed area where they do their developmental, where they do their training, where they do everything else. And Triple H, and I have to commend the guy. You may not like Triple H, you may think he's a cock, but man, does he know how to make a developmental system, because this system is second to fucking none, and I will tell you that straight. But we're going to be talking about that.
It's at least set for the next couple of years or so until these guys are ready to, come back up. I said this before on this show. The NXT the Performance Center, and just the fact that NXT is its own brand now will forever be Paul Levesque's legacy into the wrestling business, even after everyone probably forgets his in-ring accomplishments or minimizes his in-ring accomplishments, which I don't think you can do, but I'm sure people will try and do.
Well, I've always said this about the guy. It's when it comes down to Mr. Triple H, Mr. Paul Levesque, he's in a bit of a sticky situation because, one, he married into the business, but I think people downplay his contributions to the business because he married into the business. And secondly, I think people overrate him because they feel that he's equal to guys like Austin The Rock, which I don't think he is, in my opinion. But I would say he's on equal pairing with guys like Hogan, with guys like Michaels, with guys like Bret Hart, for instance. I think he's that guy. He's the guy that you could put in a match with anyone, and he would probably get a great match out of. That's my opinion about the guy.
Totes my goats, bro. Totes my goats.
Speaking about a gentleman that can get a good match out of everyone, we do have also Mr. Nick Horacek, Mr. Gaming Pegasus himself. Nick, let us know about your presence, man.
Yo. It's been good, not so much if you're a Montana Grizz fan, but if you're a wrestling fan, it's been a goddamn good week.
It has been. And speaking of goddamn good weeks, we've got another man as well, the host of the Untitled Movie Show. He's Mr. Miguel Leon, a.k.a. Sin Cara.
No, you can't say that, fools. You've ruined. It's kayfabe.
You just totally broke kayfabe, bro. Way to go.
I'm
God.
sorry. Now they have to find a new Sin Cara.
Just kill Fabe, bro. Just kill Fabe.
You just ruined my career, Burhan. Thank you.
Now you've got to give back the tag team championships. I'm sorry. Speaking of
Brandon,
that as well,
I apologize, Brandon, but you're gonna have to give up your belt too.
Oh, okay.
he gave back his belt as soon as he's going to go bye belt as soon as Christmas happens. I can tell you that for a fact. As soon as he munches down that turkey, that's it. Brandon.
In general.
Yeah, me too.
I'm always
I literally just kind of I'm pigging out right now on food. I just came back from grocery shopping and I thought to myself, I haven't had corned beef hash in a while, so I'm literally just gonna make my way through several sandwiches worth of this stuff.
Corned beef hash is
not
awesome. It is.
It's good. It tastes good, but it's awful for you. Have you read the actual
it's got
nutritional facts on this thing?
It's got fat. It's got basically.
It's literally for those of you that don't know, it's literally made from the stuff that the Chinese can't make out of food or a belt.
Yeah.
Like what they can't work with gets put into corned beef hash. I'm gonna be taking off a good week off my life finishing these sandwiches, but you know what? They're so good. They got cheese on them.
They're so good. You know what? You should try Branston pickle on it, because literally Branston pickle just makes. You're making me hungry. I've just had soup, I cake, and loads of other naughty things because I did really well this week, guys. I'm basically on my training to beat Goku challenge, where I go to the gym in a 40k vest. That's 40 kilos. I basically weigh with that vest on and also with my normal bog standard weight, I weigh over nearly next to 300 pounds. And
so you're big enough to where you can get a developmental deal with WWE now.
Pretty much. I'm one of the largest athletes in the world. So, speaking of developmental deals, let's go straight.
The world's largest love machine, Michael Burr. Yeah.
Well, I'm still trying to do my get my CM Punk match for UFC. I think it needs to happen. I think Burhan versus Punk Ainz needs to happen. UFC
so you want to just jump right into it? Do you want to just jump right into it?
Let's go into the news and talk about the man who broke the internet not once, not uno, but dos.
I just when we thought we were done with CM Punk. Man knows how to knows how to hijack a news cycle. That's for sure. He announced that 2 news cycles actually, if you count it. Maybe even 3.
Because he hijacked IGG when we were doing our show.
Yeah, so all right. If you haven't heard by now, Phillip Brooks, aka CM Punk, has signed a indeterminate. Did they say how long the deal was? It was just
2-year deal or something like that? He's got a 2-fight deal, which basically what it is, Dana's trying to feel him out a little bit. Apparently he's going to be paid very handsomely for this because Bellator tried to snap him up as well, because Bellator, for those who don't know, are trying to do a kind of wrestling MMA thing where the promos, they're going to do more scripted storylines that lead into these fights, pretty much like Brawl for All in a sense. But end up killing people. And they tried to sign Punk, but he was too rich.
It's going to be like Brawl for All, only good.
Yeah, but it was he was
slightly
too rich.
Better.
He was too rich for their blood, so they couldn't get a hold of him. So he signed with UFC and Dana White, and they're looking at basically what training camp is. He's actually said this, and he stated this verbatim. I'm saying it here. He hasn't actually managed to obtain any jiu-jitsu belts. He hasn't obtained his blue belt at all. Punk has stated that he only attends jiu-jitsu sparingly. He doesn't know any mixed martial arts. He comes from a pro wrestling background. He doesn't have any submission wrestling. He doesn't know chain wrestling. All he knows is pro wrestling. So whoever he is going to train with, they will have to build him from the ground up. to me, there is a serious problem. You know, speaking, I know I've said I wanted to have a fight with this guy. It was just most of the fact that I basically, you know, want to earn that like 10 to 50 grand pay deal for beating his ass.
And the publicity that ensues with it.
I don't give a fuck about the publicity, but just basically me. I would basically mark out before beating the crap out of him. But this is a guy who has suffered numerous concussions. This is the guy who's had his knee rebuilt right after it exploded. Do you guys remember that? This is a guy who has stated that he had a staph infection that nearly killed him. Why, oh God, why would you want to go into the UFC where you need to use your knees for striking, where you need to use your fists for striking, where you've got to take a punch to the face?
Well, he hasn't been throwing himself at the canvas, at the ground for a paycheck for the last year or so. So
Dude, shit doesn't heal, man.
Any damage to his body, maybe it isn't 100% healed, but it's healed enough to where he could pursue another athletic endeavor without seriously injuring himself immediately.
Are you seeing concussions, dude? If he gets hit in the face, he's going to have a concussion. The concussions don't go away.
He gets hit hard. He gets hit hard enough. Yeah, I mean, anybody gets hit hard enough, they're going to have a concussion. So, you know.
But concussions don't go away. This is the thing. This is the thing that worries me here. Punk is going... I think he's playing smart for the 2-fight deal, and I think Dana's being smart because, well, he wants the... You know, he knows that Punk's going to generate a million
he's
bucks.
smart. He's smart in doing any deal with Punk because he knows any fight, any Punk, any pay-per-view or any event that he puts Punk on is going to be ratings. I mean... I don't know if I'm particularly gonna pay $59.99 to pay it, but I will definitely might go to a bar or some place that has it to watch it.
Yeah.
Along with everybody else. So, you know, it's definitely been the most high profile UFC signing since they were linked with Fedor, and this one actually came through. So it proves that the UFC still has some drawing power when everyone thinks that they're clearly on the decline. They're clearly not in as much of a decline or as much as a free fall as everybody or their biggest detractors would have you believe.
Well, the company has made a lot of money, and it still makes a lot of money to the fact that they could offer Punk
It has,
deal.
but it has reached a lot of its biggest detractors say, and I'm actually one of them. It says it's reached its saturation point.
I agree with you.
So
to an
many.
extent.
It's on so many weeks a year when it more than it used to be. The product has become watered down. As you can see, obviously now the product is on so much more. They're literally just bringing a guy literally almost off the street.
Well, here's the thing. In terms of the UFC, I think they, like you said, they've reached a point business-wise where there's no way they can grow. It's weird because I can't agree with that because they are bringing in new audiences with these new divisions they're bringing in. They are striking, huge deals. It's kind of in the same similar vein as WWE right now, as they're growing, but they're growing their business as opposed to their fan base. They're still making more and more money, but it's off of these deals with Nike and this deal they have now with Invicta to bring in their women's division and with Fight Pass. They're growing laterally. They're not growing upwards.
Yeah, and they're still a company that's basically amassing money from pay-per-view buys, which is a rarity now.
Yeah, WWE pretty much killed their pay-per-view market.
Yeah. So think about that one. It's the fact that they're still being able to actually amass money on pay-per-view buys is amazing. And, even when Vince has basically changed the game again with the WWE network. And I think UFC eventually will go that route because I believe that they will, as pay-per-view ends up dying as an art, in terms of, because a lot of companies will stop carrying it, they will eventually transition to that. But I think they've got a good, probably 5 to 6 years before that even happens.
They're still pulling in at least maybe 300,000, 400,000, sometimes even 500,000 buys, depending on who's on the card. They're not pulling in the millions that they were in the Brock Lesnar era, but it's a completely different era, completely different beast. they struck something huge with the whole, the rise of the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
I honestly don't see them really hitting that stride again, in terms of innovating.
You mean the strawweight division isn't going to pull in half a million viewers or over a million viewers?
I don't think so. If are we talking about men's or women's? Because honestly,
the women's. I'm more talking about the women's.
Yeah.
Paige Van Zandt, baby. That's what it's all about.
I'm a Thug Rose fan. I'm sorry. I'm a Rose Nakamura fan.
Well,
I'm not saying she's not. I'm saying she's not entertaining. I'm just, that's my homegirl.
Well, let me
Fair enough.
Clarify on this. Punk signing to UFC was a smart move for the UFC, and it's a smart move for Punk because he can show Vince McMahon, and I think a lot of this is basically him showing Vince and Co and Triple H, I can draw. That's one of the motivations by them re-signing Brock Lesnar was they saw what he did to the UFC pay-per-view market. Brock basically eclipsed the damn UFC market. He made sure that they made tons of money on this, which is it's great. But in terms of his physical health, I question this, and I question this a lot because of the fact that the dude is not in the best shape of his career at all. He will never be in the best shape of his career because we've seen what concussions can do to someone, a la Bret Hart, who basically has a hard time even remembering half the shit that he did. Same thing for Mick Foley.
Here's the thing. I do not buy a word of what Punk says when he says, I'm doing this as a serious venture. I think he realizes that he's not going to get very far. He's too old, for a guy he's too old. He's too old for a guy his experience in terms of MMA. He's obviously been beaten up before. I think he's going to get a good one, maybe 2 fights in. I keep making the Herschel Walker comparison, and I see that wholeheartedly. I don't see him being the next Brock Lesnar. I see him being the next Herschel Walker. He's going to be a guy that's going to go in there and be somewhat impressive, but a gimmick. And I think Punk is smart enough to know how to work that. And I think he's going to be fine. I think.
Do you think they'll throw easier opponents at him so that he wins?
Yeah, you're not going to see Punk if Punk goes to welterweight. You're not going to see Punk versus Robbie Lawler. That's for sure.
No,
you'll see.
Yeah, no, they're going to protect him.
You're not going to see Punk versus Weidman or Anderson Silva.
You're not going to see Punk versus anybody of any really great importance. You're going to see Punk versus another guy who's trying to make his name in the UFC or MMA in general.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is if this fight goes tits up for Punk, this might only be a 1-fight contract. He might just be like, all right, I'm done. I don't need to prove that to myself now. I knew that this was incredibly bad, and I don't want to get punched in the face anymore, and people try to kill me. So I'm gonna go back and write comic books.
What do you
Honestly,
think?
I think he's gonna.
What is Punk's motivation for doing this? What do you think Punk's motivation?
I think he wants to prove him to himself. I think this is a guy who has just generally just lived his life by a certain way, and this is just what he feels the next logical progression in testing himself. He wanted to see if he could do professional wrestling. He did that. He proved that he could be the top guy. Well, let's see if he could try and prove it in there with people actually trying to kill him.
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna throw the word spite in there. I think there is a level of spite. I think he is kind of
spite.
Yeah, I think he's doing
Think about it. Specifically, the termination deal or whatever it was said you cannot sign with UFC.
Yeah, but he had that all sorted out by his very rich lawyer who basically handed WWE's ass to them. But saying that, now Miguel, you were going to say something?
I was going to say I very much think that there's an element of spite here. I think this is his way of showing to Vince that he can be a name, he can draw pay-per-views, he can be a guy that people cares about without having to subject himself to TNA, because I think even he's smart enough to realize that that's more than beneath him. Or even going back to Ring of Honor, I love Ring of Honor. I respect the fact that they've kind of become almost a de facto number 2 promotion now that TNA's kind of fallen to Destination America, but there's no way Punk was ever going to go back to Ring of Honor, at least for anything serious. He went to the guy that was offering him more money. I I wonder though if maybe Bellator might have been a better choice though, because if he really was going to prove that, I think Bellator would have been a better choice because really Bellator really has nobody there. I think maybe that's why he did it.
Competition wise, yeah, absolutely. If he really wanted to take MMA seriously, he would have went to somebody smaller.
But that's the thing. Bellator, apparently this was an issue of money because Bellator were in the running until UFC gave him a big cash offer. And I think for Punk, I think he's, the whole comment of what he was saying to Colt about getting what he was worth, that he's worth 10 million. I think that's truth to Punk. I think Punk believes he's worth 10 million. I think UFC probably gave him a ballpark figure in that range. Does he need the money? Hell no. Does he want the money? Hell no. Does he feel he's worth that money? Yes. Because this is what Punk's sitting there going, look, I've done this, and I bet you any money that in t-shirt sales, he's even proven it with his independent t-shirt fucking business. He broke the fucking website when they sold his t-shirts. That shows you how much of a fucking business deal this guy is a brand to himself. Punk could literally have just made that money back anyway from t-shirt sales. He doesn't need to be in the UFC. He's doing this to show Vince, look, I've made a company a lot of money. You see what you've missed? You see how you fucked up? And Vince is going to sit there and feel like shit. And I think Triple H is going to feel shit. And they're going to both do one of two things. They're either going to sign him back, which Punk's going to sit there and give him two fingers for, or they're going to try and disacknowledge him. They'll appoint even Benoit him. Like, not even acknowledge him.
Well, I mean, they've already pretty much almost Benoit him. I mean, they only use what footage they have of him when they were recording stuff for the WWE Network. So once that footage rolls out, I'm sure that he's not going to be contacted for any future interviews.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Punk's smart, and Stephen Richards, aka Mr. Retro Unlim, pointed this one out. Isn't it interesting how 1 week Punk did the podcast with Colt, and then the next minute ends up signing with UFC? It's not a coincidence.
Yeah, I think this is him. That was him trying to again capture the news cycle and get as much attention as possible. I think it was. Yeah, absolutely, it did. We're talking about it 2-3 state podcasts in a row.
Yeah, and it worked, and it gave Colt a huge rub. In the end, I think, will this be big business for the UFC? Oh, damn straight it will be. Will this mean that Punk himself is going to be a huge draw for the company? Yes. But is this the right move for Punk physically? No. Is this the right move for him business-wise? And a good way for him to say fuck you to the WWE? Kinda, yeah. That's, they fucked up. They fucked up big time, in my opinion, in terms of the way they utilised the guy, because he was hot. And I went back and I looked at the match between him and Triple H. There was no reason for Triple H to even win that match at all, right? And
no.
He buried the fucking shit out of Punk. It's the same as he buried the fucking shit out of Booker T. Do you remember the whole racist angle that they had with Triple H and Booker T back at, was it WrestleMania 30... No, it was WrestleMania 19, yes. Where the guy got the rub from The Rock after he won that Battle Royal, and then when he went against Triple H, there was all this, like, people like you shouldn't win this title, and then when Triple H, like, was going to give him a fitty to go and wash his hair and all that crap, and Booker lost. Booker lost to him, jobbed to Triple H, and ended up nearly killing his career. So
he did just fine, though. I think here's the thing. I want to just play like UFC fantasy booker for a second. Okay. Punk is going to be money for the UFC no matter what.
Oh, damn straight.
Do they attach him to what is already going to be a star-studded pay-per-view already, or do they give him to something on Fox to draw more ratings to the Fox contract?
I think they will basically make the way they'll do it, I think the best way to utilize him will be pay-per-view. They probably will have him on Fox cutting promos, but that's all they need. They won't need him to fight on Fox.
So he'll just be. You say he's going to be like on an undercard of something like that? Because obviously, if he's on a major pay-per-view, he's not going to be, like this last pay-per-view we saw that had 2 title fights. He's probably obviously going to be on the undercard of that pay-per-view, not featured.
Yeah. I mean, remember Brock Lesnar, when he first came in, he didn't main event a pay-per-view. He was in the co-main with Frank Mir. I believe George St. Pierre was fighting in that main event, if I remember correctly. Was that 100? I don't remember. Might have been UFC 100.
No, Lesnar's first fight in the UFC, he lost to Frank Mir. The UFC 100 you're thinking about, GSP did fight on that card. But the other fight was the title. I think if I remember, at that point, Brock was champion.
Well, the way
he was already championed by UFC 100, I think.
The way I see this at the moment is...
And that's also the same card that has my favorite knockout of all time when Dan Henderson knocked Michael Bisping the fuck out. Speaking of Bisping, he was one of the guys that chimed in on Punk signing, and I'm thinking Bisping is the last guy who should be talking shit. Because he did that leading up to UFC 100, and what happened? He got a personal meeting with Dan Henderson's fist.
I mean, I think anybody and their mother had something to say about CM Punk. Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger. They've been trying to trend that gimmick for a while, or maybe just Jason has been trying to get that gimmick over for a while. I mean, everybody.
John Jones said something. Ronda Rousey chimed in. Chiming in.
If I was smart, if I was Dana White and I was smart,
I'll say right now, I'll pay to see Ronda Rousey versus CM Punk. I'll pay to see that fight. I don't care.
I'd pay to see the Green Ranger versus CM Punk.
Have her punch me in the face.
If Jason David Frank,
I'd pay to see Ronda Rousey in a porno.
If Jason David Frank,
that was really dark,
went to the ring in his Green Ranger outfit to face CM Punk, I'd pay. And you know what? I think that UFC, if they were looking at the smart money, these two are well-known celebs. You know, JDF has his fan base. This would be a big deal if they signed this guy to fight CM Punk, because I think it would draw a lot of buys. But the hardcore MMA crowd would probably be pissed off.
Yeah, I think that's the reason Dana isn't probably going to go that route, because he's not going to alienate the hardcore UFC fans. I mean, he's treading water as is in terms of signing CM Punk, because I know a lot of hardcore MMA fans that are kind of scoffing at this and thinking, here's another, fake wrestling guy coming into our sport and kind of, making it look bad. To bring in Jason David Frank into it, even though Frank does have a very long lineage in martial arts and fighting.
He's actually has 4 professional MMA fights.
He does, but it would be too gimmicky. I think the fans would just basically not buy it. There's only so far you can suspend your disbelief.
And the problem is as well, he hasn't trained.
Like, people shit on Brock Lesnar coming in. Look what he did.
Yeah, but the thing is,
then, of
Brock
course,
made
Brock
them all believers.
NCAA wrestling champion, and he was a lot younger than Punk.
The dude's fists look like fucking sledgehammers.
Exactly. The guy could punch you in the face and turn your skull into dust.
Look, for most of what Lesnar used to do was, when he started out in UFC, he would just tackle you to the fucking floor and then hammer you with those big fucking mutton chops. Mm-hmm. It was brutal. And my mate would just sit there and look at me and go, this guy is fucking menacing. Brock is a fucking menacing beast. Punk isn't a menacing beast. They got to play smart. They got to play shrewd. Now, going on from that, I might as well do the Ask Him. So let's do the Ask Him. The Ask Him this week is a Brock Lesnar Ask Him. Now, can you name me Brock Lesnar's debut match in the WWE? Who was it against? And who was his partner? Can you name me Brock Lesnar's debut match for the WWE? who was it against, and who was his tag team partner? Answers on the postcard. You can also go to facebook.com/UnlimRadio, twitter.com/UnlimRadio, or just go to our forums, which is Facebook.com/groups/Wrestle Revolution. And you can go in there and have loads of discussions with some awesome people on there. We have grown to nearly 40 members for this forum. We're doing really, really well. And, you know, it's the one place that we go on there to discuss tons of stuff in terms of wrestling. And shout outs to our new members who have just recently joined us, including Sean J. Michelin, Mr. Adam Khan, who just posted the Raw Hardcore match between Rhino and Chris Jericho on there. And also the amazing Mike Horton, who's been posting a lot about Next as well, and John Weston, who was talking about the replica NXT Championship. So we've got loads of stuff going on there at the moment. Go to facebook.com/groups/Wrestle Revolution for more, guys. It's a great forum, and it's got some great members in terms of wrestling who love wrestling, who want to know about wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan, you can discuss it with guys who are very, very like-minded. Just don't mind Jeff, because, you know, Jeff's a cool dude. People just get really angry with him for some reason. But anyway, going on from that Ask Him, let's talk a little bit more about news. Speaking of debuts, a gentleman formerly known as Alberto Del Rio is debuting in Ring of Honor as Mr. Brandon Liggian. Who's he debuting as?
Is Alberto El Patron, which,
Yes.
I mean, I think ROH was an interesting choice for him. I mean, obviously, if TNA was on Spike still, he would obviously still go there. But yeah, this is going to be a good thing, I think, for him. I think it'll help him rebuild people's opinion of him in the ring. It'll definitely focus more on his abilities in the ring, which I think WWE didn't nearly focus on enough.
Yeah, I agree on that one. What do you think about this, Nick?
You know, I think it's a good move for me. You get a guy, it'll definitely bring some attention to Ring of Honor. Like, hey, wait, they got this former WWE champion. Because Alberto Del Rio has never been bad in the ring.
Got stuck with terrible gimmicks.
Yeah. He's not a bad wrestler. It's the gimmick.
He's a terrific wrestler.
Yeah. It's like with Cena. It's like Cena's not bad, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate from the anti-Cena crowd, but it's how he's booked. And see, that's the problem I have with Cena. It's not Cena himself, it's just how he's booked. So you put Del Rio in an environment...
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, him coming into ROH automatically makes, just because he's a former WWE champion, he's automatically coming in, I think, as number one contender for the title. I mean,
Yeah.
That's Jay Briscoe's still ROH champion at this point in time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry about
so Jay Briscoe, he's coming for you, nigga.
We do not condole
Oh,
the
God,
use
I never
of the
get tired of
N-words
that.
in,
Thank you,
Can I-
Booker T.
in
One
Slamcast
slip-up giving us a lifetime of comedy.
and memes.
Exactly.
Go on, Miguel.
I think this is more indicative of maybe a future partnership between ROH and AAA, because the fact that AAA is allowing Alberto Del Rio to sign with ROH, because technically he is still signed with AAA Wrestling. In fact, he was actually, if Lucha Underground gets a second season, he'll be debuting on that soon as well. So I think him signing with that is more indicative of that, and I'm excited about that because I think there's a good relationship that could come out of that. You know, ROH is smart enough to know that it could really make headway in terms of partnering with a lot of these people, you know, partnering with New Japan, partnering with obviously AAA now. So it's interesting to see. In terms of ADR actually working in ROH, I think it works because all those guys are on a level to where you buy them in the ring with ADR. It's not like TNA where, you know, there's only a handful of guys in there that have the star power in that company to where you buy ADR versus a guy like that. Like, I can buy maybe ADR versus Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, and Kurt Angle, and there's not that many left. I mean, Lashley, sure.
Joe.
Yeah, Joe as well, but in ROH, he could really have a feud with anybody in there, and you could buy it. ROH knows how to make them believable, so I'm really looking forward to who his first big feud is going to be with. And I have a question. Have they confirmed if Ricardo Rodriguez is coming with him?
I hope so. That would just be great.
Yeah, I kind of think you have to.
Well, you know what they should do? They should, instead of making him like his ring announcer, personal ring announcer, I think they should put them as homosexual partners.
No. This is why you don't book wrestling, Burhan.
Yeah, this is why I'll never let you hold the pencil, brother.
It would be. I've heard of the people who hold your pencil, Brandon, and I'll need like gloves to hold that thing. And
this is where the power lies. Okay, I'm pointing to my hand right now.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, why not? It's nouveau. It's unique. I'm not saying just outright say they're gay, but you could do something in that,
like a Chuck and Billy thing, like
No, not a Chuck and Billy thing. Kind of imply it, yeah, but imply it.
Did I just hear myself say 3 minutes?
Yeah, I just think
I couldn't
it would be something very, very unique in a sense, and
unique, but for what purpose other than it's unique? I don't see the purpose of making them.
You could have him basically. I'm not saying you need the two of them openly like mouthing each other or anything like that, but it could be something unique, especially into Mexican wrestling. The only thing is,
I just don't see that. I just don't see that happening, especially in the uber macho lucha community.
Yeah, and it's not really that unique. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the classification of the Exoticos, which is a classification in lucha wrestling where it's the very feminine male, almost drag queens almost. They've got a couple of those in AAA actually. In fact, one of them actually debuted on Lucha Underground recently.
By the way, we have a winner of the Ask Him already. Mr. Stephen Richards, aka Mr. Retro Lim, basically has stated that the tag team partner for Brock Lesnar was Shelton Benjamin, which is correct, and it was in 2001 against BJ Payne and Shooter Schultz on their debut match, and Brock Lesnar also used the shooting star press.
I think I remember seeing like a dark match where he was like the opening matchup hit with him, and I think he had like wrestling gear on, and I do remember him doing the shooting star press. But it makes me think, because that was the long-term plan, and I think what happened was when Charlie Haas's brother died, they decided instead to slot Shelton Benjamin into the Haas role. And I like to think there's an alternate universe out there where Benjamin and Lesnar went on to get tag team gold, and the Haas brothers were a feud against them. That would have been cool.
And Shelton Benjamin has a relevant career again.
Yeah.
But you know what? He was uber talented. I don't understand the reason why they got rid of him.
No, I absolutely, he was absolutely one of the most talented guys the WWE ever had that just couldn't get over.
Yeah,
he was the WWE's equivalent. He was the WWE's equivalent of Kenny King.
Yeah, I agree on
absolutely.
That. He's uber talented. He can work. But he couldn't. The thing is, he got over a lot more from his athletic feats than his mic skills. But saying that, Kofi Kingston's kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think all three of those New Day guys are in that same boat together. And if this is I wouldn't. What were we gonna say?
I was gonna say I don't think so in the case of Big E Langston. I've always been a big supporter of his. I've seen his work in NXT. I've seen his stuff like his vines and whatnot. The guy has a charisma to him. The guy's legitimately funny. If WWE would have just let him do his thing and really get over, he would have been big. But he suffered way more start and stop pushes than anybody with the kind of level of talent that he has. I mean, that guy could have been big, and WWE.
Yeah, at one point in time, he was the Intercontinental Champion.
Is that?
Yeah, and everybody thought it was going to be a big deal. Like, it was like, oh my God, Big E's got the title. This is going to be huge. He's going to move on to bigger and better, and his career died. Like,
he was one of the blandest IC champions I have ever witnessed, and I've witnessed a lot. And it wasn't any fault of his own. It was just the opponents they put him against were just terrible. You know, when he lost
I think he wasn't ready to quite break out yet. I think they pushed him a little too much too soon, I think.
You know what?
He was fine as Dolph Ziggler's heavy.
Yeah.
You know, they just you got those little glimpses of what Miguel and I call his innate charisma. One of these guys, again, I think has that innate charisma that just is just waiting to come out. You saw a little glimpse of it when he just any time they put a microphone in him, like for 2 seconds, he cut something and it was like hilarious. Like, I remember one time he just started talking in a really high voice.
By the way, Mr. Steven Richards...
or the Kermit the Frog thing the one time he started doing.
You are the winner.
Yes.
And he also points out that Lesnar did a shooting star press versus Angle at WrestleMania and nearly broke his goddamn neck.
Broke his freaking neck almost.
That was terrifying. I remember seeing that.
Yeah,
he landed right on his face.
I laughed.
That's never good.
And then looked at him thinking, shit, he could be dead right now.
Yeah. No, I'm sure if there was ever moments when Vince McMahon nearly had a heart attack in Gorilla, that was absolutely one of them.
Yeah. Now going away from that, Miguel, what do you think about Alberto Del Rio's chances in Ring of Honor? Do you think he's going to be hot shot to the title? Because at the moment they don't really have a clear competitor to actually go against Briscoe, because his former opponent, I'm trying to finish.
Michael Elgin?
Yes. No, not Michael Elgin.
Yeah,
Michael Elgin's gone.
Well, yeah, because they were going to build him up as the next big Ring of Honor star, and then Elgin decided to run his mouth about him going over to baseball, and then they pulled him out. I mean, Jay Briscoe was never meant to have a 2-time championship reign. They just kind of had him take over after Elgin kind of flopped. I think in the case of ADR, I think they kind of need to put the belt on him, because, like you said, if they are going to stick with Jay Briscoe, he's going to need somebody to feud over. Nothing about an uncontested Jay Briscoe title reign does anything for me. I think Briscoe really does need somebody to chase after, and I think ADR could really be that guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who his other opponent, because they recently, Ring of Honor actually had a pay-per-view. And I'm trying to think...
Final Battle.
It was Final Battle. I'm just trying to think who it was.
Hold on, let me pull up my phone. I dropped my PSP. Darn it. And there, it shut off. Whatever. Okay, let me pull up Final Battle on Wiki. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm trying to think who it is, who the...
I hesitate to say Adam Cole, but I don't think it was Adam Cole.
Yeah. And Adam Cole, who's currently injured, because he's basically... No, was it Adam Cole? Yes, it was Adam Cole. He's injured currently due to his match at Final Battle. So they do need someone on top at the moment, and they haven't really pulled the trigger on Jay Lethal yet, getting that top spot. They could put like AJ Styles in that top spot. They could put anybody in that top spot that they want to, because Ring of Honor is that good at hot-shotting anyone into that position. The problem is, though, I think Del Patreon is probably the best choice because of the fact that he's already an established talent with the World Wrestling Entertainment.
Yeah, he could get immediate heat just by being the fact that he's been in WWE. I mean, he could obviously he's above this.
Yeah.
I mean, my friend Bill was going to use this as a gimmick to try and get over in the Indies. Like, it was going to be kind of like he's going to go like on a Kevin Owens kind of mission, just going to beat up every fucking buddy possible in order to get attention to get back in the WWE, because he felt that he's better than the independent wrestling scene.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could see them doing something like that with Del Rio, just like having him just like being, I have to rebuild my reputation so I can get out of working shit places like this.
Well,
I want to work WrestleManias again.
Well, going from that, guys, let's go to our kayfabe wrestling news article of the week. Now, for most people who don't know what kayfabe wrestling news are, they're a a website basically that's dedicated to all things kayfabe. Now the fun thing about them is they always have some amazing articles, like last week's article. If you haven't checked that out, just go back an episode and check it out. It's hilarious. Now the kayfabe wrestling news article of this week, of course, and this is also of course Brandon's favourite segment. Now, jaded wrestling fans already declare we've seen enough. Just hours after the debut of next wrestler Kevin Owens, better known as Kevin Steen, the name under which he dominated in the independent wrestling circuit, jaded wrestling fans worldwide are declaring we've seen enough. He is so last night, tweeted one wrestling fan, Indie Smart PWG, adding that Steen Owens is already stale. Some old shit, tweeted another cynical wrestling fan after Steen Owens blindsided Sami Zayn last night's next takeover event. Shades of the duo's past feud was also at the event as well. And he says, although many non-pretentious fans are still excited to see Owens-Zayn's rival in NXT, a small but vocal minority on the internet insist they'll just repeatedly watch Ring of Honor Final Battle 2010 instead. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our kayfabe news article of the week, sponsored by kayfabewrestlingnews.com, where wrestling's still real to us.
Damn it! Actually, you know what? That article actually probably could be real, because there probably is at least a small percentage of wrestling fans. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna watch Final Battle 2010 over again. It's gonna be so much better, man.
Okay, shall I find another article? Shall I find another one?
Wrestling!
Okay, let's do another article.
Fucking IWC.
Okay, main roster superstars are now aspiring to get called down to next. A recent study reveals that in the stark reversal of convention, the majority of World Wrestling Entertainment superstars are valiantly struggling to get called down from the company's main roster. Its more exciting and engaging development league, NXT. In the past, rookie wrestlers honed their chops in NXT, hoping that one day they might perform in WWE's flagship program Raw or SmackDown. But now, opposite appears to be happening, according to a study published in the Harvard Review of Sports Entertainment. I'm hoping that if I add a bunch of more moves to my arsenal and make my matches more exciting, I might just get a spot on NXT, revealed John Cena in a candid interview. Added Cena, maybe someday I'll be in the same league as Sami Zayn. One considered a demotion getting sent down to NXT is now considered the highest honour that can be bestowed upon WWE performer, giving a high calibre of talent consistently on display in the WWE's Farm League. Randy Orton, a multi-time WWE champion, recently tweeted, I've achieved many things in my career, but my ultimate goal is to win the NXT Championship in front of 150 fans at Full Sail University. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our kayfabe wrestling news article of the week. Sponsored by kayfabewrestlingnews.com, where wrestling's still real to us.
Damn it! Doing it twice?
Yeah, there you go. So, yet another McMahon family Christmas ruined by Drunken Vince. So yeah, make sure that you check out all these exclusive articles from kayfabewrestlingnews.com. It's hilarious. It's a great site and full of awesome people. Now, we're going to basically talk about the eventual thing that we need to talk about, which is the Slammies. One of the things that I think we should be debating about is, did Roman Reigns deserve the Superstar of the Year Slammy? So, Mr. Host of Hosts, you wanted to put a point in for this.
Yeah, I do. We were arguing about this before, and I wanted to save it for this. I do feel that he was, a deserving candidate for Superstar of the Year, because, I mean, you have to look at, up until he got hurt in September, he had the rocket ship strapped to him. I mean, he had that awesome Royal Rumble performance. They had that great, feature program with the Shield against Evolution. He came out looking real strong from that. And that momentum, he kept riding that momentum throughout the summer until eventually he got hurt. And he had to be off TV for a few weeks, but I think up until that moment, absolutely he was worthy of Superstar of the Year.
By the way, ladies and gents, we are joined by Mr. Lawn Boys Post 1975, Mr. Dave Wade, who's kind of fashionably late. I think he was busy watching the NXT Evolution pay-per-view. That's why I think he was fashionably late. Is that true? Is that true, Mr. Lawnboy?
Did anybody hear what he's saying?
I got
Yeah,
no
he's kind of
idea.
like you're kind of like
No.
fading in and out there, bro.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you
Yeah,
now.
we can
hear
You were.
Yeah, I was
You
saying
sound
we're
like
joined
you
by
were-
Mr. Lawnboy's post 1975, Mrs. Dave Wade. Dave, you're fashionably late.
I know. I did it again. I fell asleep.
Yeah, I just pretend that you watched next. That's what he was. He was
Don't
fapping
worry
to,
about it, dude.
He was
Don't
fapping
worry about it.
to Owens.
It's
versus...
been a very long day, and I'm all tired out, and I got more resting video games, and yeah, I just woke up, just went, fuck's sake, Dave, seriously, you know that little alarm thing you have a problem with on your fucking clock? What do you say? I'm just gonna have a nap. I'm just gonna have a nap. And yes, I turned into a retard again and forgot to pull the fucking thing out that says, I'm an alarm. I'll wake you up, Dave. Yet you forgot me again, you fucking knob jockey. Sorry, people, I do apologise. What did I miss? What do I miss?
By the way,
Not much.
I've just basically.
Did I miss? Oh,
Brian
have you
Kendrick.
talked about MMA yet? Because
Brian Kendrick
We
was
did.
on
You
our
got-
Evolution. I never knew. He was in a dart match beforehand against
Who was?
Brian Kendrick.
Oh, good. Well, good for him trying to get back on the WWE.
the
back
only
in
reason
saw that.
I want to really quickly say, even though I'm late to the party again, because I apparently, in England we don't know how to use alarm clocks.
No, you
'cause,
don't.
Well, you seem to forget. When I say 1975, it's not my name. It happens to be the year I live in, apparently. But
Everything
just,
runs on coal, right?
yeah, it does. No, it does. Really, people, you think it? No, actually, no. I've upgraded it. Now it runs on donkey piss. But it's still unreliable.
Well, going from
But
that.
I have to say about the MMA thing, I have to say really quickly, because
Go for it.
I won't hold this up because it's my fault for running on donkey piss and being late to the party, but super so excited when Mr. Bohan sent me the link where that was announced, and I was just like, oh my god. And what made me like kind of smile about this, which was for all the non-believers out there, which I was before you guys welcomed me into the fold, almost 8 months ago or so, and I'm like, do you know what, right? Supreme athlete, we know he's a supreme athlete, but I just remember watching the announcement and just going like, yeah, everyone else, when you always say like, oh, it's fake, it's this, it's that, it's this, we know these people are amazing athletes, but you're like, yep. Now you're going to see some fucking really cool shit. To quote Back to the Future, now you're going to see some serious shit. Because in this, and and again, knowing that we know that, well, that these people are supreme athletes, but it's like, yep, all you naysayers, pay attention, because now you're going to see some shit that's going to blow your fucking minds, because yeah, we know this guy can, fight and shit like that, but now all the naysayers can see, now you can see him fight in your tiny little world where you didn't think existed, because this guy's hard as fuck. That sounded like porn, but never mind. And he's gonna blow your fucking tits off,
It's
because
so hard he could fuck concrete.
yeah. And I can't wait. I was like, look, when you said it, my brain, it was like a crossing the stream moment. My brain just went, don't get hurt.
I'm still lobbying
Fuck
for my match.
people up.
Michael Burhan versus CM Punk. It should happen in 2015. I think it should. Put if you do too, sign my petition. Now, going back to what we were talking about, do you think Roman Reigns deserves the Superstar of the Year Slammy? Mr. Lawnboy, Dave Wade, do you think Roman Reigns, the Superman punch himself, deserves the Slammy for Superstar of the Year?
No.
Like Brandon
No.
does? Okay, explain why.
Because no, I'm not saying he doesn't work hard. I'm not saying he's not like yeah. I'm not saying he's not like. By the way, Mr. Reigns, if you watch this, what I'm about to say, ignore me and don't hit me in the face if I ever run into you in public. But no, there are other people who've worked harder and have done more.
And won the title at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't get behind it.
I
is
think
what
when
I'm saying.
the WWE's politicking a push here, which is one of the reasons why people don't like, what's what's going on in terms of Reigns, because a lot of people have actually stated this, because on Botched Spot, by the way, you go to www.botchedspot.com. The main artist behind it was actually saying that when the WWE gets behind someone in terms of push and tries to force them down people's necks,
well, that's just it. It feels too kind of not organic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's
like kneel before Zod. I love this guy. You must love this guy. We've just decided people love this guy. No, like, because I don't love this guy. You're like, well, tough shit, because fucking WWE have just decided you should. Now, fucking get on there.
So yeah, Nick, you were gonna say something. What do you think?
They could definitely use this. I mean, it could be a launching point for, Bryan comes back for a possible feud with Reigns, if you think about it.
You get what I'm saying, don't you, Nick?
Bryan.
I'm not being disrespectful to him. It doesn't work for me. Do you know what I mean? It feels too
it forced. It definitely
orchestrated.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what you have now is, reinforcing the authority, saying Daniel Bryan's a B+ player, yada, yada, yada. And, of course, you had Reigns, who rocket ship been strapped to his back, and he's being pushed to the moon. So you can definitely use that in a future storyline. Whether they will, I highly doubt that. Because the only freaking continuity or even remote decent storytelling we can get in WWE nowadays is over on NXT.
So this is the thing as well. Like, if you look at the Superstar of the Year nominees, you had Brock Lesnar, who, in my mind, had a impressive year. Defeated The Undertaker at WrestleMania, right?
Where's that sound clip?
Yeah, he beat the fucking streak. And he basically destroyed competition that's put in front of him. Yes, he's only a part-timer, but he is also the current WWE champion.
Hold on. I gotta ask a question. Burhan, did you see the picture I put in the chat? Because I think I might have sent it to you. Because when I get my chance to talk, it's gonna be I don't know if I'm gonna be referencing that as soon as I get the chance.
Yeah, you've got a lot of guys here who've had can argue have had a great year. Daniel Bryan, WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He defied all odds and became the WWE World Heavyweight Champion despite the authority.
Until May or until April when he got hurt, and then
but again he never lost the championship. He only vacated it due to injury. Rollins, the MVP of the authority, the man who is probably now the company's top heel.
Mr. Money in the Bank.
Mr. Money in the Bank has had an amazing year.
Dean fucking Ambrose.
Another man who is untouched in the ring in terms of his style, his substance, has basically launched himself to a main event player. You could make a case for nearly everyone on this list, which would make Roman Reigns look insignificant by comparison. This doesn't make sense to me. Now, I'm going to pass this on to you, Miguel. What do you think?
All right. I don't think I can really add anything more because you guys pretty much hit the nail on the head. I will add one thing, though. I just threw a picture into the Skype chat. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this got brought to my attention in a wrestling group about a week ago after the Slammies came out. I don't know if you guys can verify what I'm looking at. I tossed it in the chat. I think Burhan can. I don't know if anybody else can in the chat.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I've got it zoomed in.
Okay, take a look at the. Yeah, take a look at the Superstar of the Year rankings. If you notice,
I want to look at it, but because I've run on Donkey Pissed, I'm pretty sure it'll crash my computer.
All right, well,
okay,
Dave, we'll give you a description
I'll explain it to you guys. Yeah. All right, I'm looking at the Superstar of the Year screen on WWE on the WWE app, basically, and I'm noticing, and this is some people have picked up. If you look at the people nominated, each person is separated. Each person has its own spot that you can click on, except for Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. You'll notice both of them are kind of lumped together. Some people are saying that because of that there might have been a discrepancy where whatever votes would have gone to Daniel Bryan instead went to Roman Reigns. You could see the same thing with Dean Ambrose and John Cena. There's no separation between their links together. So
Yeah.
in theory, a lot of people are saying that the reason Roman Reigns won is because people actually voted for Daniel Bryan, and because of the way they set up the app, his votes may have gone to Roman Reigns instead.
So do you think that they basically did this on purpose?
Considering John Cena and Dean Ambrose are lumped together, I could totally buy that. I could see a situation where they kind of either wanted Cena to win, so they kind of lumped Dean Ambrose's votes in there, and in the case of Daniel Bryan, lumping his with Roman Reigns to get him over. I would not be shocked if that was the case,
At least
honestly.
he didn't do a George Bush and people who were dead vote for him.
No, but this is it. I would say that it's slimy for WWE, but these are the same people that used a Daniel Bryan cheer to get over the WWE network. There was that whole fiasco a couple months back where they had a bunch of people cheer for Daniel Bryan, and they say that they were going to give him, their best wishes, and they ended up splicing that footage into a promo that Vince was doing for the free month of the WWE network. So WWE is no stranger to kind of rigging stuff to their own advantage. So it would not shock me if this was a factor.
And they vote.
So,
God.
okay, let me go to each and every one of you. Who would your pick be for Superstar of the Year? We'll start with you, Brandon. Out of the list, out of Reigns, Lesnar, Ambrose, Cena, Bryan, Rollins, and Wyatt, who would you pick?
Lesnar. I mean, because again, he broke the Undertaker streak, won the WWE title. He's been the most dominant superstar of the year. I'd say Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has. They already did a category earlier on in the night with the quote-unquote breakout superstar of the night. I think Dean Ambrose won that. I think that was very fitting for Dean Ambrose to win that because, again, no superstar had a more unexpected year than Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, Ambrose really when Reigns got injured, Ambrose shined big time.
Yeah, exactly. So again, I don't think if without Roman Reigns' injury, I think Roman Reigns is now still being pushed to that main event. So I think Lesnar or Reigns 1A. Really, you could really say.
Okay, if you could only choose one, which one?
If I had to vote, I would vote. God, that's really tough, man. I'd vote Roman Reigns because it's the hair.
Ooh,
always vote the hair.
Okay, Dave, who would you pick?
Lesnar, all the way.
Okay, Nick, what about you?
I'm gonna say Daniel Bryan. If you look at specifically a storyline aspect, Bryan wins the title last year at SummerSlam. He gets it taken away from him. Next pay-per-view, he wins it. The next day after that, he gets it taken from because of a screwball ref. He had been, kept down and just beaten down and just held down, and then he finally ends up winning the title. And I'm just saying, no one has been more over in the last year than Daniel Bryan.
That's true. Miguel?
I gotta go
Lesnar
with
1A for sure.
Yeah, I mean, ending the Undertaker streak and then going on to win the Unified World Heavyweight Championship, to me, it would be a crime to not put him in there. I mean, if we're talking on a legitimacy aspect, yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else who's done more in that year than him, with the exception of maybe Seth Rollins. Yeah. I would if Lesnar was not on there, I would actually go Seth Rollins. I think he really has shined and been kind of the I would say the top heel in the company, second only to Brock Lesnar.
No, I agree on that one.
Yep.
And that for me, it's the same thing. I agree on this. I think in terms of anyone, if Lesnar wasn't on there, Rollins would be a shoo-in. And I know they're trying to push Reigns. I will say this to the WWE, and I'll say this now. If you want this guy to be universally hated and panned by your fans, you're going the right way about it. Do not go this route. Do not shove him down people's throats, or you'll get
Cena, this guy.
You'll get another Rey Mysterio. You'll get another. Do you remember what happened with Rey Mysterio, where they tried to shoehorn him into Eddie's spot, and people quickly turned on him?
It's the same thing that happened with Sheamus.
Yeah, you got to be organic about this. Cena, the reason why Cena's so over now is because people organically followed him, and eventually he changed himself, but people still were on his side. The WWE marketing machine enhanced Cena's marketing value that he put in place on his own. Do not do this. You will kill a very credible young man's chances at being the company's top guy if you continue down this route. Do things fairly. Let the fans choose who they want.
Their hair. Sorry.
Yeah, let the fans choose who they want, because in the end, my opinion, I think if fans were allowed to vote fairly, the person who would have won this would have been Ambrose. That's my opinion. I think Ambrose would have got the Slammy for this. But in terms of who should have won it, Brock Lesnar. The man defeated The Undertaker, destroyed him in a very, very dominating match that we've never seen The Undertaker have. We've never seen him. He was treated like a baby. That was physically abused.
This is why he would be Wrestler of the Year to me, because of that match in itself alone was just one of the greatest things ever, and it almost feels like, alright, I know it was voted for and stuff.
No, but it wasn't. Like, I don't think it was voted for at all. I think
thanks for that, mate. By the way, thank you for delivering one of the greatest matches we've ever seen in the world ever. But just sit in the corner because we got someone else we want to promote right now. And it's like, what about this? You did everything you asked of him, and now you're forgetting about him.
Yeah, the thing is, Reigns isn't in that position where he can sell T-shirts and he's over despite people hating him. You're gonna break his career if you go this route, and I will guarantee you. Go on, Miguel.
Can I say something about Roman Reigns?
Go for it.
I honestly think the fact that he's missed so much time off screen, I think a lot of his bloom has kind of gone off the rose, in all honesty. I think he became so hot as a babyface because he was riding off the success of the Shield. Now that he's been off of TV, I think a lot of people, especially me, and honestly, I'll say this right now, I've really gone lukewarm in terms of Roman Reigns. I think he's got a great look, but I don't think he's that good of an in-ring performer. I honestly don't think he has that much charisma. I thought he was going to be the next big thing, and now, after months of being off TV, I just don't buy it anymore. And I hate saying that because I really do think we need a new, fresh babyface in the main event, but I don't think Roman Reigns is that guy anymore.
They can salvage it, but the only way they're going to salvage it is by allowing this guy to wrestle and let his talent speak for himself. He's currently stands as a sports entertainer. He's not a wrestler. And I know that they're the type of guys that they want as their champion, but look at the way that NXT's gone. You can see NXT is more of a fan favorite kind of product because people favor the certain talents they like, and the talents that work within the company are people that basically give everything they have. And I'm not saying Cena doesn't, I'm not saying sports entertainers don't, but they're usually guys who only put a few set of moves and are over because the machine wants them to be over rather than not over because the fans want them to be. The proof is in the pudding for what they did to CM Punk and how they killed any momentum that the guy had just with one match.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we're going on from that, guys. Let's move on to basically the pay-per-view of the night that we're going to talk about before we move on to the TLC predictions, and that is NXT R Evolution, or as Brandon calls it, Revolution. So, Mr. Liggian.
Because R Evolution is a stupid name for a pay-per-view. I'm sorry. I like branding all the NXT pay-per-views. Takeover, I like that, but I don't think they had need. I think it's like In Your House. In Your House doesn't need to have each individual name.
I think what happened NXT Takeover 3: Return of the Jedi, I believe.
Yeah,
if I'm using my Star
Wars. Let's ask Miguel here because Miguel had something to say next. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say I think what happened was Triple H really wanted to call it Evolution, and they were like, we can't do that. It's the name of your group. We can't call a pay-per-view that. It's like, all right, fine. We'll call it.
You mean I can do that? I can call a pay-per-view any name I want.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
let's put an R in front of it. It's like, oh, that's cool, revolution. No, our evolution. It's like, no, Triple H, we really do like the revolution.
Yeah, hour is an
hour.
Like,
one of a sudden we're throwing grammar out of the window, apparently.
It's the WWE.
I thought you'd done that your entire life because you're American. But I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the WWE. Nothing is safe, including grammar.
Yeah.
So,
all a pay-per-view event is called Grammar Wars now.
They're hosted by CM Punk. Now, we'll start with you then, Miguel. Tell us a little bit about this pay-per-view and why it excited you so much.
It excited me because it really is showing that NXT is really allowed to do its own thing. I mean, for years we, had to deal with the byproduct of FCW, which was such a mismanaged organization, and really, honestly, I can't think of many stars that were made out of the FCW market.
Apart from
and
Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns.
Well, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and well, let's be honest. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins were indie guys. They were Jon Moxley and Tyler Black. Roman Reigns, sure, you can say that, but who post OVW did WWE make? I mean, aside from that initial run of guys like Lesnar, Cena, Batista, and Orton, who else did they make during that last few years? I mean, I remember the Ricky Ortizes and the Eric Escobars of the world that just came in and did nothing. The Mason Ryans of the world. These guys really were not allowed to really learn anything. It was a mismanaged tool. With NXT and the Performance Center, you really can see that they're really building for the future. And these NXT pay-per-views have been a byproduct of that. They've just been so different from what we're used to. It's an exciting thing, it's like being there watching a band when they first start. You get to watch these guys get to be there before they're there.
So let's talk about basically the talent on the card, and in terms of
I think what you're trying to say, this is what I took from it, and I had to watch it cough through Daily Motion many staggered ways, where it almost felt indie in a sense.
But I think it's an indie promotion done well. This is truthfully...
Yeah, but what I'm saying, like it felt fresh and new.
Yeah.
That you don't get very often these days, if that makes sense.
This is what TNA should have been. And I'll say this is what Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling should have been. A showcase of amazing independent talent that could someday make it in companies like the WWE, but they instead watered the fucking thing down so much that it became like fucking...
And brought in every ex-WWE guy they could.
Yeah. And this has that kind of fine balance, doesn't it? That organic balance of established talent, independent guys, and also WWE's own kind of guys that are learning from this type of talent. And I think they use guys like The Shield, for instance, as kind of the backbone of this, because without Rollins and Ambrose, I don't think Reigns would have been as competent as he is at the moment. Now, Brandon, what about you? Tell us a little bit about your excitement of this pay-per-view.
Well, I mean, I was excited, obviously, from Jump Street about this because it was an NXT pay-per-view, so what's there not to be excited about? It's been, ever since, the most entertaining things on the WWE Network, arguably. And they started off right with a bang, too.
It's worth paying your $9.99 alone. I told my buddy Clay I said that, because he posted that it was on last night, and I'll get into him later, but I said NXT's worth the fucking $9.99 alone.
Mm-hmm. Come for NXT, come for NXT, stay for the Total Divas.
Exactly, stay for everything else, pretty much. So I mean, they started off right with a bang by giving us that Kevin Owens.
Oh god, I got fucking goosebumps.
Straight from Jump Street. I mean, he's talking about a guy who absolutely should have, as Vince McMahon say, grabbed that brass ring. That's the guy who's trying to grab the brass ring right there. He even made C.J. Parker look like a credible opponent, which, something Baron Corbin absolutely did not do. I mean, I think that's the.
But hey, you need to have a new guy coming in over. Why not C.J. Parker?
I guess so. They made him look really strong. Here's the thing about Baron Corbin, though, and I know I'm going totally off on a sidetrack. I can't tell if they're really just, pushing this guy as hard as they can, or he really just only knows about 3 wrestling moves, but he just has too good of a look where they can't keep him off TV.
I think they're really building him strong. We won't see exactly what he can do until he gets a actual match. Which I like what they did with them. They didn't blow their wad with the Bull Dempsey Baron Corbin match. They're still nurturing that, which I like.
But
I'm totally looking forward to that feud whenever that match takes place. I hope it's relatively soon, because these are 2 guys I've seen personally how Bull Dempsey, aka as I knew him, Smith James, works. I've witnessed it. I've seen him throw plenty of people around. So that guy can go.
Well, let's talk about Owens' prowess in the ring, because he was destructive. Watching him in that ring,
I mean, if there was any
exploded.
doubt that how he was going to adapt to the quote-unquote WWE style, those doubts were thrown out right in the middle, because that was a traditional Kevin Steen match from the bell. I mean, it had its back and forth moments. He hit almost every single bit of his offense that he normally hits. Obviously,
Did they let him? I haven't seen it yet. Did they let him use the package pile driver?
No.
They did not use the package pile driver, but he definitely did plenty of power bombs.
Yeah, and he did the variation of the package pile driver where he did this. He hooked him up for he was gonna put him into the package pile driver and then turned it into a power bomb. It was very unique, very diverse.
He turned that frown upside down with your face.
He basically,
and there was some color to that match too, which was quite unexpectedly. And CJ Parker hit him so hard that he busted his nose open with that palm strike.
I think he enjoyed it.
Parker cut his hand.
Yeah, I think he enjoyed it. The way that he looked.
Cut his hand on his face. That's amazing. Cut his hand by popping someone's nose open. That's how hard he is.
Yeah, and Dave, what did you think of this?
They didn't stop it either.
Yeah, being an outside looking in, Dave, what did you think of this match? What did you think of Kevin Owens? Did you think this guy...
This match blew my tiny little tits clean out of the water.
I mean, have you ever seen a guy, apart from Brock Lesnar, Dave, have you ever seen a guy that big move that fast and be that agile?
It was like somehow he's just done a deal with the devil that says, by the way, mate, physics no longer apply to you.
Yeah, could you imagine this guy? He grew up in Canada. Could you imagine Kevin Steen as a hockey player? Good Lord!
Oh my God!
He's got goalkeeper written all over him right there.
Or Kevin Steen in the CFL or something like that.
Stay away from him because they'd be scared.
If you could tell,
covering bitches.
Yeah, if you could say anybody who would probably do really well in the UFC, I would say Kevin Steen, aka Mr. Kevin Owens here, because he is just vicious.
I think all his fights would be over in 35 seconds, and he'd just palm slap them, and they'd be dead.
He is vicious, and that's the one thing that he brought to his match.
But I have to say, going back to what Brandon just said, and when I watched this fight, my brain was just like, I know this is actually real, because it's actually happening, but I don't understand how you're doing these things based on your physicality and size, because right now, basically, this is a crossing streams moment, because you fucking move like a fucking ninja.
Yeah, he was basically, the moves that he was performing in the ring were like cruiserweights. He performed it so elegantly. But the thing about it as well, he just seemed like a complete beast. When he won, the fans went fucking apeshit. I mean, literally, the 150 people in that arena made it sound
there's a lot more than 150 people.
Well, they made it sound
I'd
like
say
he
400
was...
or 500, but his entrance music fits into a T as well.
Yeah. All right, talk about that a little bit, Nick. His entrance music.
I got to go out and watch this matchup. I unfortunately did not get a chance to see the whole show. I read the results though. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go out of my way to see this matchup specifically.
It was a fantastic match, and like I said, it's the opening match of the card, and it only goes maybe like less than 7 minutes, but yeah, it perfect match for guys to debut. I mean, just take the screen cap of the referee raising his hand and the blood
Isn't that
dripping
Drake
down
Younger,
his face.
the referee too? If I
Yeah,
remember
it
right.
is. Their friend. Yes, it is. I think.
I'll tell you how you can
So
sum up
they're-
this match with the way he performed. But well, both of them were brilliant. But it just for the first time. Well, granted, I'm not. Into this, not into this, but up with your knowledge and stuff. But I would just
The
say
only,
right there,
the only,
persona,
the only Kevin
persona,
Steen footage you
absolutely.
saw
No, I agree.
Personified.
was that video that I showed you before. I showed you the power bomb video, right, where he
Yeah.
has all the variations of the power bomb that he has. So that was your only experience to Kevin Steen before that. So you were absolutely blown away.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And I mean, and this is just scratching the surface of what this guy can do.
Yeah, he's
How old is he?
destruction. Yeah, Dave put it right. He's destruction personified. Destruction personified. He is a destructive force that I've got a funny feeling that once he's had a few months in NXT, maybe 3-4 months, he'll be promoted to the main roster. This guy's got an
I just hope they
upside.
use him well and right,
Yeah.
and don't kind of
Yeah, that's my
keep him
big.
by the side or because he's got great talent and everything like that. I don't. Part of me is being a little bit kind of cynical right now with the way these things work. But part of me just thinks, don't fuck this up because
Well,
you have something brilliant here, and don't kind of use him as your one-trick pony for something, and then bench him and leave him out for ages and ages and ages, and then we'll bring him back because we can use him for this big event or something like that. Because after watching that, this guy was just like, holy shit. I need you to slap more people in the face repeatedly and very hard.
Well, there's one guy in his corner at the moment that's backing him, and that's Triple H. Triple H has said it himself that he's basically a Kevin Owens guy. He even was interviewed about the guy and said that this guy...
Surprisingly, because I mean,
Yeah. He's
the
not exactly
famous story was that he called him a fat piece of shit.
Yeah, having his opinion changed by the way that this guy works in the ring. I think basically, and I think with what I can say about Triple H is, you can look at someone, and he said it himself, that perception, first impressions isn't a good thing when it comes to him, because he can be wrong about a guy. I remember when he said about John Cena is a guy who was never going to make it in the industry whatsoever. The guy proved him wrong. I think Owens is one of those guys that proved him wrong by the way he watched this guy work. I think as soon as he saw the guy work, his mouth probably hit the fucking floor. Now, going
There's
on
something
from...
special here. I just don't want them to fuck it up.
No, I agree.
I think he knew.
No.
I think he knew he had something by the way he could work. I just whether or not the promos were going to be Steen's biggest drawback. And again, that if we saw from the build-up vignettes, I don't think that's going to be a problem at all.
The question.
Next Stone Cold
really
Steve
isn't-
Austin, boys.
Miguel
Well,
Bryan.
here's the thing. The question isn't whether or not he's got Triple H's eye. It's whether or not he's going to get Vince's eye, because at the end of the day, once you move up to that roster, it's night and day. You're no longer dealing with Triple H, even though he has pull. You're dealing with Vince and what Vince sees in him. And my biggest fear is going to be that as soon as he hits that main roster, Vince is going to look at this guy and be like, I just don't see it. I just don't see what everybody sees in this guy. I just see a fat neck beard. Maybe we can build him as that. Maybe he's like, the stereotypical wrestling fan, and he goes out there and he, name drops the IWC and starts calling people a bunch of marks. Like, when we're dealing with the main roster, you're dealing with Vince McMahon, a guy who is still stuck in the 1980s or even in the 70s. And I don't know. I want to be along for the
touch. No, it's the kids. The kids who are out of it.
But can even Vince,
Yeah.
I mean, I know what you're saying, Miguel. I know what you're saying, because that's Vince. But even Vince, surely he could look at the buzz this guy's getting right now, and look at how people, reacting to him. Even he can surely step back and just go...
Dude, it took CM Punk leaving the company before Vince even pulled the trigger on Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, what am I talking about? Never mind, ignore all of that.
Yeah,
Vince
Daniel
was
Bryan
down
was as
fast.
hot as fucking hellfire. And, Vince just even if Daniel Bryan was lying on the floor in flames, burning to a crisp...
Do as I
Vince would-
say, not do as I do, I know best.
Yeah, Vince would
basically.
still look at him and think, nope, still lukewarm. Don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, before CM Punk left, the plan was to have Orton versus Batista and Bryan versus Sheamus, I think was the plan. Third from the top of the card, Bryan versus Sheamus for a third year in the row. I mean, Vince, he just doesn't see it. Like, he sees what he sees, and he's going to put the product the way he does. And that's my biggest fear moving forward is, for all the good that Kevin Steen is probably going to do in NXT, and I have no doubt he's going to be the biggest star there, as soon as you hit that main roster, man, all bets are off, and I fear for him, man.
He needs 3 visits from the Christmas spirits.
Rollins,
vodka, sambuca, and whiskey.
Right.
But
Rollins isn't a Vince guy. I don't think Rollins is a Vince guy. I think Rollins is a Triple H guy. I think Ambrose is a Triple H guy. I think Triple H has seen the upside of these two guys and is keeping them, steady on as a push for these guys. So I think Owens is going to probably do really well on the top of the roster. Now, let's move on from that conversation because we've got a lot more to get onto in terms of next R Evolution.
Yes!
Mr. Liggian, next match. Mr. Liggian, next match.
Mr. Liggian has left.
Brandon.
Well,
Okay.
sorry, I double mute myself sometimes, so I had the Skype muted sometimes. Yes, double muted.
I double mute myself.
Sorry, what do you want?
Time, only when I'm around the police.
Yes.
That's a lot.
So, all right, we already talked. I already talked a little bit about Baron Corbin. I can't figure out what they're gonna do, but I love that match. Do we want to talk about the Divas match? Because I thought that was a very, very good match from Charlotte and Sasha Banks.
Yeah, that was.
I really want them to call Charlotte the Nature Girl. Like
it was
really.
actually a lot better than the Divas matches that we've seen on WWE television or even TNA in that sense. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely great back and forth match. We even saw Sasha Banks lock in Charlotte's finishing move on her. You don't see that nearly enough these days. I think people hitting guys with their opponent's finishing move as like a measure of insult. But again, a very good match
that was,
from the women's division.
I missed this match, but I got to look that up because that to me is just the ultimate, like you said, ultimate insult and brilliant. By the way, your finishing move, boom, have some of that in your face. Got it. I'm not even trying.
But saying that, in terms of Charlotte, do you see the upside on her because she's being pushed very strongly at the moment? And I know a lot of people have said
I do. I do see a high upside. I mean, obviously she's Ric Flair's daughter, and there's the
wait a minute. Based on what? Based on a recent Raw matchup?
Yeah, that was.
I think that Raw matchup wasn't as good as it could be, but everything that I've seen her do on NXT, yes, I absolutely think she could be a very viable commodity for the Divas division. Her problem is she got into this business much later than she really should have. So she's already behind the 8 ball in terms of skill and people where people her age should be at, I guess. So she's already playing catch up.
How old is she?
But it looks like they've masked that by being able to find things that she does well enough in the ring and building a move set around that. So
how old is she?
All power to her. More power to her. She's late 20s, I think. If I'm not mistaken. She's over bad. 25. Not that bad, but they usually try and bring people into wrestling in their.
Is there a difference between divas and sort of the
superstars,
the guys? Yeah, is there like when it comes to age, is there like a double standard?
Yeah.
It's put up with the wrestlers for longer, or the bloke wrestlers longer if they're bankable, but divas need to be of a certain age and just accept it because even though we're a sport with the quality right now, there's still that double edge or double standard, if that makes sense.
With male wrestlers, at least in the WWE, it's widely known, or at least in wrestling in general, that if you're in your 30s, if you're 32 already and you haven't gotten called up to the WWE, or you haven't at least gone to a tryout, you probably should do that because your window is shortly closing. Because once you get into your mid-30s, they're just not going to invest the time to develop you because it's going to take 2 years to develop you, and then you're 35, then you have another 5 years in the business. Like they're just not, unless you're a guy like Batista, who's just like a physical marvel. There's nothing. There's no.
So what we're saying then, it's like most
stick
other
to the
sports,
indies, bro.
Physical, which is basically young 20s.
There's a ceiling.
Mid-30s.
There's a ceiling, man. There's a ceiling or a very small window for success. And that's why like guys start training and wrestling when they're 18, so they get those young guy years out of the way. Therefore, by their mid-20s, they're seasoned veterans and they already know what to do. And then by the time you're 30, you're a fucking old man.
So who's the Ryan Giggs of wrestling, then, if that makes sense?
Ric Flair. Ric Flair, because Ric Flair competed actively and at a relatively high level well into his like 60s.
I think he was still. I think he won the WCW championship at 40, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
he was still the champ around that. Well, keep in mind it was also late 90s WCW we're talking about.
So he's the George Foreman of WWE then.
Pretty much, yeah.
Basically. I mean, he wrestled Shawn Michaels WrestleMania main event. He was well into his 50s by that time.
Wow. It kind of restores your faith, though, in like, do you know when you see things like this, and the reason I said who's your Ryan Giggs at wrestling, the reason I like stuff like this is it's just kind of, it's someone who's getting rapidly old and the body is failing. It's just kind of sometimes you just think, wow, there's been
no one that's really defied like like Giggs when he was in his 40s, other than those like brief times when he kind of got injured towards the end. He still consistently performed at a high level consistently.
He never.
Flair would have his runs.
Because this is the point I want to make with Ryan Giggs was, and what was the equivalent wrestler was, he never lost his legs. He was that marvel, which is, you were the person you were years and years ago when you first started. Like, I don't know how you've done it. Clearly you've sold your soul to the devil or something. All right, granted you're going bald, but we'll ignore that. And you're Welsh as well. We'll ignore that. But
yoga.
Yeah.
Lots and lots
they
of
say
yoga. That. But yeah, moving on. I thought that was a great match. So I think Charlotte has a high upside. I think that match on Raw was an anomaly. I don't know why.
No Paige though. Sorry.
Over.
Well, there was a talk
I'm
about
just saying that because
apparently
Paige forever has my heart.
Triple H went to bat for
and hopefully
her.
my Winky at one point, but
Triple H went to bat for her, and Vince was like, "No, Natalya should win," and Natalya was like, "No, she should win," and like Vince, "No, you should win," and Triple H was just then tried to justify it to Charlotte and said, "Don't worry, when you get eventually called up to the roster in a few years, no one's going to remember this."
Doesn't this go back to the? I was going to say, doesn't this go back to the CM Punk story about how he went over on the Shield and it was like, all right, you're going to beat them, but make sure to make them look really strong.
We want Roman to look strong.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Punk, make him look strong. Hey Punk, make him look strong.
Just
you know what would make him really
strong?
Yeah, do you know what would make him look really strong?
You're gonna go over on him.
Yeah, do you know what would make him look really strong? If they pin me, that would make him look strong. No, you're going over.
No, we want you to go over, but make him look real strong.
Real strong.
Oh God,
I love how he does I love the Michael Hayes voice and then the emphasis on it, just that. Real strong.
So yeah,
I want to see
a picture the Michael Hayes kind of like that shit-eating grin that Michael Hayes sometimes has on
that ponytail
WWE programming. Yeah, the ponytail, just real strong.
That was cut in the plane ride from hell.
So moving on from fucking Michael P.S. Hayes impressions. What was the next match?
Yeah. So I mean, should we just talk about possibly the greatest entrance in WWE history? Yes. I mean, come on, folks. I don't care.
Dragons retained. I don't care what anybody. So we can't skip over that. But okay, entrance.
No, but the Lucha Dragons match was fucking awesome.
It was a good match. I mean, I didn't think there was any doubt that they weren't going to keep their titles, so I didn't really keep that much into it. I get to go made a pizza during this match.
I like the Maud Villains. The Maud Villains
from scratch. Because that would be impressive.
No, frozen pizza.
This match does not do it for me. I'm going to make a pizza first of all, I will prepare dough.
Yeah. I'm going to will it into existence.
He's gonna
made pizza yesterday.
He's gonna Kevin Owens that pizza and powerbomb the dough.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. But anyway, hats off Anyway, hats off to the Lucha Dragons for retaining their titles. I was kind of disappointed though slightly because I do like Aiden English and Simon Gotch as an concept as a tag team.
They are hilarious.
Just two
I love
old-timey
the
strong
gimmick.
men.
I honestly love the gimmick.
The gimmick is great. The gimmick is great. I just hate that this whole build-up was just inevitably them to just be fed to the Lucha Dragons. I hope this feud continues. I hope we see more, and I hope one day we finally see them take the belts off of them. But moving on to the
making pizza from scratch, but you all overlook that.
Yes,
What a wonderful
but this
talent
isn't
you
a
have
pizza
there.
pod. This isn't a pizza podcast.
The pizza podcast is tomorrow night. Anyway.
Yes. So that entrance, holy fucking shit. I mean, look, I
the way it was shot, the production. Oh my god, just the little touches, like how he came out and how they kept him a few like little glimpses of him, but still just behind that smoke, and then he rises and he's like, oh my god, just everything about that.
Those who don't know who we're talking about, we're
amazing.
talking about on our little poster. If you can see it on the player, he is the one next to Kevin Owens. He is Mr. Finn Balor.
yeah, buddy. I mean, that entrance was fucking phenomenal. I mean, I'm glad they let him bring that over from Japan. I know he can't obviously emulate characters directly, but I think that was a little bit of Carnage, a little bit of Venom. Fucking fantastic, dude. Fucking fantastic. Can you imagine what a Finn Balor WrestleMania entrance is going to look like?
Yeah.
I know. I was thinking
just
about
them
that,
looking at them.
Yeah. The look on the Ascension's face, that sold it all. I mean, the entrance was great, but then you add that one last thing that just took it over the top with the look on the Ascension's face. That look
for real.
What
and
the
the match delivered too. I mean, if you had missed any of Finn Balor's debut matches on NXT, I mean, you'll see why this is the most entertaining brand thing in sports entertainment right now. I mean, God, great match. I want to know. I know, such a great moment. I think they're going to keep teasing that out because I just don't think that ultimately they're going to do it. I think that move, to most of the WWE audience, that move is associated with CM Punk, and they're not going to let him. It would be confusing to have to explain to people that Punk stole it from them or Punk got it from him. So
I don't think you acknowledge it, honestly. It's kind of like how Triple H pretty much co-opted the crossface after what happened. Just don't acknowledge it. Have him just use the move.
What the move from who?
I mean, people are gonna chant CM Punk regardless, like they do to AJ Lee.
Wait, did you Triple H use the move
like
Stevie Richards
why cover it up? Just let him do it. Don't acknowledge it. Eventually, people will just accept it for Hideo Itami's move. It'll be his move again.
Did you guys don't understand that the move Triple H utilized was Stevie Richards, right?
Yeah, absolutely, totally.
Yeah, former World Heavyweight Champion Stevie Richards.
Yep.
Former Royal Rumble winner.
Yeah, he lasted that full hour.
I was going to say Steven Richards invented the crossface, but really it was Chris Jericho that invented everything. Therefore, he just let Steven Richards use it.
Well, Chris Jericho invented Steven Richards, so that's...
Exactly.
And Chris Jericho also invented the WWE, and also the American legal system. Anyway, they basically had their match with the Ascension. It was amazing.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. I want to take right away from this. Did they just essentially slaughter the last year of the momentum that the Ascension built up just to put over Balor and Itami? Or is that it for the Ascension they're going to go? You don't think so? You think this feud has some legs to it?
I think these guys are heading to the main roster, so customary in wrestling, you do the job, and
well, the Ascension have done everything that they needed to do. So, what do you think, Miguel? I
was gonna say I think the Ascension's a lot of their steam ended when what's his name? The guy who's now Bram, when he was kicked out of the WWE, I never felt the Ascension was really the same. I felt like they were kind of treading water with Rick Victor now. They really had nothing going for them in NXT. They were just kind of placeholders because there was a period where just NXT was not doing anything with tag teams. I think if they do get brought up to the main event roster, I don't know what you do with them. I don't see WWE putting a lot of backing behind them, unfortunately. I think they were
put
hot
them
for a little
behind
bit.
Seth Rollins. That's what you do. You put them with.
Yes.
They're the new Seth Rollins' new security team.
That's a good idea.
There you go.
Very good idea. Or they put them in the Wyatt family.
Nah, I don't think you need to put him with the Wyatt family. I think the Wyatt doesn't need his family anymore. I think we're seeing in this build-up Wyatt this is really the test run to see if Wyatt could work alone as a single, rather than have these other two guys behind him.
I've said it before. I think Wyatt needs to be the mouthpiece for Luke Harper. I think there's a much bigger upswing for Luke Harper than with Bray Wyatt, and I like Bray Wyatt, but I don't know, something about Luke Harper, just he gets my eye more than Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's great on the stick, but in terms of the workhorse, I think Luke Harper could be that guy. But that's just me.
Okay, and now speaking of this match, what did you think about it, Dave? Did you enjoy this?
Oh, it was brilliant. Took it for what it was, which was just epic, on the money, did everything right, didn't fuck around, do too much fucking taunting and shit like that, and fucking egos and crap like that. Felt very clean, if that makes sense. Not some big I'm gonna fight you, you're not gonna fight me, I'm gonna fight you, no you're not, and then playing to the audience. It just turned into a fucking great, fucking nice, technical, brilliant, awesome wrestling match. I just kind of like the fact that it was not, super old school in the sense that it was just nothing but build up. It was just like, I'm gonna hurt your face, and guess what? I'm hurting your face.
Yep.
That's the worst descriptive term I've ever come up with, but you know what I mean. It was to the point, is what I'm trying to say.
What about Miguel? Did you see this match?
Like I said, I gotta be perfectly honest. I'm only just now watching the NXT event. I found a video of it, and I'm actually watching some of the Sin Cara Kalisto match. Can I just say about those guys? Those guys have toy written all over them. Those guys are gonna make so much money for WWE and merchandising. It's disgusting.
Well,
it really is, and I really hope WWE does not ruin these guys by just having them job out to some of the bigger guys. They really just got to let these guys go out there and do their own thing and just sell themselves on their gimmick, because they would be leaving so much money on the table if they ruin that. I want to see the Lucha Dragons come to the roster now, but I'm kind of cycling through the pay-per-view as is. I did just see the Finn Balor entrance. Interesting. I did not like the dreadlocks though, because it kind of reminded me of you remember Roxy Laveau from TNA. Kind of reminded me of that. I think he could do without the dreadlock hat. Other than that, yeah, the paint's cool. I kind of like it. I like the creature gimmick. I just hope that they allow him to do more with that than just being a creature, because then he's just going to be the next boogeyman, which we don't need.
Okay. So going on from that, then let's go to the next match, Mr. Liggian.
Is that the main? I mean, that's the main event of the evening.
And now it's time for our main event.
Because I mean, I don't know whose people's match of the year ballot were already filled out, but that one right there, boys, was a strong contender for match of the year. I mean, just the I'm not talking about the aftermath of the match. Spoiler alert to Miguel. There's something that happens afterwards. Just the match itself and the psychology and the fact that I really didn't know whether or not the outcome of the match was going, what the outcome of the match was going to be. You know, the psychological aspects of this match were second to none.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because Zayn fucking brought it. He brought it Like, I have never seen anyone. He was fighting for his life in this match.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And they Neville sold it perfectly as, like, he didn't want to end his friend's tenure in NXT, but he was going to do everything possible to do it. He played the heel really well, or like sort of like the reluctant heel, I guess you could kind of call it. Fucking flawless, man. I can't. There's no real one spot in particular that I could really call out. Everything on it was just crisp, just back and forth.
I love seeing the
right
torpedo
next to the
DDT.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, the torpedo DDT through the ropes. Yeah, that's probably my favorite.
And, we saw Zayn come out successful and capture the NXT Championship to a
you got that emotional payoff too. I mean, this was the perfect match. I think if we had to limit best to best NXT match, it was the best NXT match of the year, without a doubt.
I
love that moment when the roster comes out, they're celebrating, and my buddy Cal Bishop is out there too, which I got an extra kick out of.
I think it was great. They did this very well. Owens was the first guy out there to contribute to congratulate him. That was a legit moment between those two guys, those two friends.
Yep. The thing that made me mark,
they played it off.
That made me mark it out a lot, and we won't get to that yet. I want us to talk about that moment in a second. Dave, what did you think of this match?
I gotta be honest, and if the wrestlers are actually listening to this, I do apologise, but this might be the match where I went for a dump. Not their fault, just I had to go for a dump, and so I kind of missed it.
Long boys dump, 1975.
Sorry, I had to take a poop, people.
So, now we can go on to that other moment, and sorry about this, Miguel, we're going to spoil this for you.
I already read this. I already read what happened at the end, so I have a sense of what did happen, but go ahead.
Owens reignited his feud with his former tag team partner, Mr. El Generico himself, Sami Zayn, and Mr. Liggian. What did he do?
He fucking powerbombed him right into the video screen apron thing that they have down there at NXT, and absolutely fucking brutally so.
Yeah,
and the bump that he took too. Actually, the initial bump when he threw him down on the steel ramp. I mean, that was a brutal bump, man.
I just noticed that, by the way, the digital apron. I never seen that. Is that just a new thing WWE's been doing, or is that just an NXT thing?
That's just an NXT thing that they do.
I have a question about this, right? Because even though I went for a dump, I did read about it afterwards. I have to say, genuine grudge here, people, or is it something that they wanted him to do for ticket sales? If that makes sense, is this a genuine beef?
No, because they're best friends in real life. There's no.
Well, that's just it. That's the point I'm trying to make.
But this is where they're going to take something that's in real life and twist it and around and make an absolutely excellent storyline out of it. I could absolutely say that they're gonna have Owens be jealous of Sami Zayn's success in the WWE while he was been in here longer, been in the business longer, and that's gonna be
Zayn, he was called up before Owens.
And I will say this as well. It was the fact that I basically, as soon as I saw him do this to Zayn, I was like, oh my fucking God. I kind of marked out, but then I was sitting there thinking, is he okay? The WWE played this up as well. They showed Regal come out, to make sure he's okay. Regal had a worried look on his face. Everyone had a worried look on their face. Triple H kind of went, are you okay, buddy? You deserve that title. Don't worry. Hopefully you'll be fine. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Go and wheel him through. And they're wheeling him through. And I kind of had that look of sarcasm on Triple H's face. Because it was just he had something to do with it in a sense. But it was really, really well done. I think the storyline is going to be a very big one. And catapulting Owens into the title picture that soon Do you think it's going to have a good payoff?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I think these guys. I would not be shocked if Zayn went to Triple H and told him about the feud that they had back in ROH and was like, "Listen, let me work with this guy. This guy."
I'm pretty sure Triple H knows. I'm pretty sure Triple H knows, like, you know, that they had a history going into it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not saying Triple H is watching Final Battle 2010 and taking notes, but I'm sure he's aware that they had matches going into it and they had a program. So that's absolutely why they're doing this again, because why not? Why not repeat something on this level and
they work, and they work well, and I think these guys are really going to. This feud coming up is going to be the best thing going with NXT. I'm going to say that right now. I don't see anything getting better, and I would not be shocked if this sells them on. If this sells Vince on NXT, because I still have a feeling Vince isn't completely sold on NXT being a selling point for the network. I think it's probably like third on the rung under Total Divas and Legends House. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that these guys are really going to make NXT the must-see programming for
they already
the network.
Have. Next our Evolution, well, and I'll tell you right now, guys, if you haven't seen it, see it. It's totally worth the $9.99. Nick, give us a rating for the pay-per-view as a whole. Out of 10.
10 out of motherfucking 10.
There we go. Mr. Lawn Boy, your rating.
I give it 8. But the reason I give it 8 is I'm not as familiar with the people as you guys are. So it's my fault that it gets 2 less than it should deserve. But hey, I can't help the fact that I'm a newbie.
Mr. Liggian, what about you?
What was that?
I'd say 10. I'd say 10 because it was as good as you could really deliver. Every match was good. There was no lulls. There was no what the fuck kind of moments. No one fucked up anything significantly. So yeah, 10
It was
out of 10,
polished,
man.
and it was slick, basically.
For me, I'll say this. This pay-per-view probably for me would be like watching a WrestleMania. I was excited. I was on the edge of my seat. There were moments that I just went, holy fuck.
I think that's a good analogy, actually. Yeah, I really like that because it was almost like a mini WrestleMania in the sense that it was everything. It had excitement. It was, polished. It was sharp. It felt more than it was, if that makes sense, because it was just a pay-per-view, but at the same time it felt like something bigger, more important that they could have basically put out as an event.
This pay-per-view took a shit event on Bound for Glory. That's my opinion. This pay-per-view took a big steaming dump on Bound for Glory and said, this is how you do it. So there you go, guys. That was next our Evolution. And now we're going to go on to our TLC predictions. Before we do the Iron Sheik Tweet of the Week. So, Mr. Liggian, sir, what would you think of TLC?
I just want to cover the bases. I don't know what, I'm sure there's going to be a tag team title match. Mizdow obviously is they're not breaking that team up, so let's just keep that. So we're just going to take to the tables, ladders, and the unfortunate. I can't believe they're really working this into the title. This is 2 back-to-back horribly named WWE events. I mean, if tables, ladders, and chairs and stairs is actually
this is a Vince Russo idea. This would be a fucking Vince Russo idea.
Wait.
This makes me want to put my head.
They are calling it tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs.
Fuck, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life.
No, but are
really.
they?
Are they? They were putting it over on Raw this Monday. It had its own little graphic on a thing. They penciled it in on draw something or something like that. Like one of those. It's God. I really hope they just drop it.
That job, by the way. I want to be the bloke who's paid by the WWE fucking $200,000 a year to sit in a room, and all he does all day long is tap a fucking pencil against his head and just goes, "Need a name for an event. Need a name for an event." Then looks out the window and sees cars and billboards pass by and just goes, "I got it! I got it!" That's the greatest job in the world, people.
Yeah, it's officially called TLC, tables, ladders, chairs, ... and stairs. And they actually have
I
the
don't think he was
dot.
looking at hardware catalog when he came out. Whoever came up with this, I reckon they were looking at hardware catalog.
Well, all I'm saying is, whoever writes next NXT, whoever does like all the good stuff for NXT, get them to work on the main roster, because you people make me sick. But I'm going to ignore that because
IKEA will come.
now I believe the WWE has a retard pass for NXT. Because the NXT was so good, they have a retard pass for TLC. So let's go to our official matches for the pay-per-view. Mr. Liggian, sir, shall we?
Yeah, do you want to talk about the stairs match? Obviously, because I mean, it's the match that makes obviously
Eric
the least
Rowan,
sense in
the
concept.
I call him the Amazing
Big
Red.
Show. I call him Reverse Sheamus. I think Reverse Sheamus wins. Reverse Sheamus wins, LOL, because nobody puts over people like Show does. So,
But saying that, he is
Eric Rowan, yep.
he's got some momentum coming into it, so I can see the fact that he would, win. Now, going on from that one, Miguel, who do you think's going to win here? Is your pick Reverse Sheamus?
Oh, what, in the stairs match?
Yeah.
I could care honestly either way. I'm not big on Eric Rowan. He does nothing for me. Big Show does less for me because he's just kind of been there. Gun to my head, if I had to pick somebody to go over, I'd have to go Eric Rowan, because there's no reason Big Show needs to go over in this. He really doesn't. If the rest of his career he loses, I wouldn't care, honestly. But that's just me.
Okay. So what about you, Dave?
Rowan. Not a massive fan of these two guys, but for some reason Miguel said that. I kind of just see that Rowan is out with these two individuals. I don't know, the one that could look like, this sounds terrible, looks like he could carry the win better, if that makes sense.
Okay. Next match going on from that. Mr. Liggian.
The next match, what do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about the Intercontinental Ladder match?
Yes.
Because I think this is going to be a match that is going to be stealing the show, or at least the under-radar pick for stealing the show. Because, I mean, who doesn't love a good Intercontinental Ladder match? I mean, traditionally speaking, ladder matches for the Intercontinental title have always been great. Need I mention the classics between Shawn Michaels and Scott Hall? Triple H and The Rock had a pretty goddamn good one. The list goes on and on and on. I think this is a shot for Ziggler to get the title back, even though it really doesn't make sense for him to get the Intercontinental title, because I think he's, being about to be pushed to the main event caliber.
I think if the WWE's
keep
smart,
that belt on him for at least a little while longer. I think
if the WWE's smart, they would have Ziggler basically...
Couldn't you argue that pushing them to the main event is why they're going to do this, though? Build momentum, if that makes sense.
I could see it. I could see the way that they deal in it. But I don't think Ziggler's going to retain the Intercontinental Champion. I've got a funny feeling we're going to see more like kind of focus on Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan after this is all said and done for the IC Championship. Now, in terms of Ziggler, he may come off strong. I just hope he doesn't lose this, because his momentum will be derailed.
You have to say it. From now on, if you're going to say someone coming off strong in a match, you have to say it like Michael Hayes.
Coming off strong.
Coming off strong.
So yeah.
How strong? Real strong.
Real strong. So going on from that, our next match. Rusev versus Jack Swagger for the United States Championship.
What a beautiful singing voice you have there, Mr. Lee.
Well, wait a minute. I didn't say.
Thank you, sir.
I don't. Did you ask everybody about who they thought was going to be the winner of Luke Harper versus Dolph
Yeah,
Ziggler?
Miguel.
Apologize. We didn't.
Okay.
Miguel, you're clearly trying to get in there.
So Miguel, who do you think's
No,
going to win?
because I don't know if you asked everybody or not.
I haven't asked you. So who do you think's going to win?
We're asking
okay.
you now.
I think Luke Harper's going to go over. I think Dolph Ziggler, for all the hype and pomp and circumstance he's getting, part of me still doesn't believe that they're 100% committed to him. And I think even if they are, it's that kind of committed where it's like, well, we like
name,
you,
by the
so
way?
no, his real name is Nick Nemeth.
Oh, because I was just going to say, Dolph Ziggler is the greatest name I've ever heard in the world ever.
It's a play on the name Dirk
I wish he was
Ziggler.
my
They've already said that,
custodian
that's
when I
why.
was at high school.
Yeah, his brother was at one point signed to the WWE, wasn't he?
What?
His brother was one point signed to the WWE.
I guess so. I don't remember, honestly. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to
I'm
check
guessing that
his.
didn't play out too well.
Oh yeah, it is. His younger brother was under the NXT brand, but I don't think he lasted very long.
No, he didn't. He lasted he was in OVW, then he got signed to Florida Championship Wrestling, and then was fired. I think after 5 months. I don't think.
Was he fired just generally because he didn't perform, or was there something else to it?
I think he didn't perform sexually. Anyway, going on from that, Nick, who's your opinion?
Luke Harper.
So I think we're unanimously thinking Luke Harper. Dave, I didn't ask you actually. Do you think Luke Harper or Dolph Ziggler?
I want to say this is the stupidest. I want to say Dolph Ziggler just because the name blows me away, but if I'm a realist, Harper. Don't be mad at me, Dolph Ziggler.
Guys, we've
your
got
name's so good.
a special guest. We've got Amanda. Hello, Amanda. Say hello to everybody here on Slamcast.
Hi guys.
This is the first time we have a woman on the show.
It's a lady on Slamcast.
I know.
Wait, there are birds who watch this? I thought it was a smorgasbord.
I'm
of
trying.
talk.
I have to be really super duper polite now, so
What?
yeah.
No, you don't.
You don't have
I always
to.
listen anyway. It's not to say.
You giggle like a child.
Brandon, are you
You know what? Just
giggling?
let the fucking flag fly.
I can't, man. I can't. This is different with this one. That's all I'm gonna say.
Why
Just
is
say
it different?
titmouse and giggle like Homer Simpson.
Oh my god, this is. We've got the two of you already
Titmouse.
already playing verbal volleyball here. So going back to the match, we have basically our next match was the United States Championship with Rusev versus Jack Swagger. Let's go, Mr. Host of Hosts.
Rusev versus Swagger Part 2. Yeah, I don't know why we're doing this. I guess it's obviously a lack of credible heels to feed to Rusev at this point. So,
faces.
Yeah.
Well, eventually
Rusev wins. LOL.
Yeah, he'll eventually get the John Cena win. LOL.
Crush, LOL.
Okay.
Yeah,
Miguel,
Rusev crush. LOL.
Miguel, who do you think's going to win here?
I'm going with Rusev, but I'm going for it for selfish reasons because I was smart enough to draft Rusev in the wrestling draft that I'm currently a part of. So I've been getting amazing points.
You're not an idiot. You're not an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, I was smart enough to draft Rusev and the Usos back when they got the title, so I've been cruising on easy street. I'm still in third place over there because a certain somebody decided it was a good idea to draft Paige and a bunch of other NXT people when they first came in. Good on him, though. I mean, he was smart enough, but I'm happy with Rusev, and I want to see him crush Jack Swagger.
Cool. Amanda, what about yourself? Do you watch wrestling?
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
What? No.
Her greatest wrestling story is when a steel cage almost fell on her.
She told me that
Yeah,
story.
I talked about it.
So
I need to hear
It didn't
this.
almost fall. It did.
okay, we've got the
Okay,
Russian...
yes, it fell on you, but it almost injured you.
Did you see? Did you see for Workman's Comp?
I can hear reindeer.
No, she's got.
Yeah, that wasn't
that's
fun.
That's the Lily.
Really snappy.
Anyway.
Okay, going from that then, Mr. Lawnboy, who do you think's gonna win, Rusev or Swagger?
Rusev.
That's unanimous. I'm not even gonna freaking comment on that. WWE Divas Championship,
Yeah,
Nikki Bella.
I'm not saying it's preordained or they've already worked this out, but I think it's safe to say it's on the cards that he's going to win.
The Divas Championship match, aka the Piss Break, Nikki Bella, aka Bitch Tits Cena McGee, versus AJ Lee. Who do you think's gonna win, Nick?
Nikki wins LOL by the transitive property of John Cena's dick.
Oh man.
I think watching this
Another
match,
one
we
might
all
give it-
win.
Yeah. I know. I think Nikki Bella wins because I think the writing on the wall is pretty obvious with AJ. I think she's on her way out. I think she wants to start a family. She wants tons of little Phil Brookses running around their Chicago loft apartment.
Oh God.
I've got a funny feeling that Punk's kids are going to be the most argumentative children I have ever seen in my life.
Punk's kids are going to have
they're gonna-
heads. Just saying.
He's gonna grow up See, the thing is, he's gonna grow up resenting his kids because his kids are gonna grow up with everything.
Yeah. And they're
And he
also
grew up with nothing.
and they're going to also grow up basically having the worst kind of tempers known to man, because as soon as they don't get what they want, they'll be like, "We worked goddamn hard for this," and they'll cut like promos, like little pipe bombs on their dad. So Miguel,
And they got that and they'll have that Puerto Rican temper from their mother too. So you know.
Oh my
It's a
god! I wouldn't have to
firecracker.
separate. You know what? I don't envy when it happens that because kids always get into fights. I don't envy having to separate those.
So
That's all I'm saying. I wish AJ nothing but the best in her future endeavors. I think the word around the campfire is her contract is up at the
I
end
reckon he'll
of the
keep
month,
it real
so-
though. I reckon
So-
when it comes to Christmas, he'll just give them a lump of coal and a fucking satsuma in their stocking and just go, "Dad, I want an Xbox."
What
Tough shit,
I
son.
will miss,
I'm
though-
keeping it real.
What I will miss, though, is I will miss her promos, because as much as I did deride her at first for trying to sound like her husband when she's on the microphone, I like it now. I can't picture. I need those
Oh, you
promos in the
grew
Divas
warm
division to
again.
be interesting. It did.
came
It did.
around.
I kind of used to make fun of her. Because it's like, oh my god, is this guy clearly? This guy's clearly either writing her promos or she's just like sounds like him from taking his dick so much.
so
And,
Miguel,
DNA. It's a
See, I was
beautiful
trying
thing.
it-
I was trying to ease
You know what?
everybody into
Talent
that
may not be
joke
sexually
because-
transmitted.
well, according to Punk and Cena, it is. So is it Funbag Cena or Mrs. Straight Edge?
I think it's Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella wins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miguel
Funbag-
Funbag.
I demand a T-shirt that just says "I'm here with Funbag Cena."
Miguel, Funbag Cena or Mrs. Punk?
Funbag Cena went to Florida, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
I think there's more of a future in Funbag Cena than with Mrs. Punk. I think Mrs. Punk has really gone as far as she could. Honestly, the last big feud of hers was with Paige, and that kind of was, I don't know, it just didn't work for me.
Right.
I like Paige. I thought they could have had something, but there was no real heat between them. It kind of seemed like they were just put together because they were the two top biggest stars. Paige and AJ came off to me like Cena Orton. You know, it just they were there, so put them together, and
I have a
think they
confession,
got
by
the most.
the way, people.
What's your
I'm not
confession?
proud of this, but I might be slightly proud of this. I may have bought a Page poster.
That thing is going to get very sticky very fast. Anyway,
Yeah, he's got it on his.
Oh, it's
he's
alright.
got
Don't
it
worry
on his
about
ceiling.
it. I've already laminated it, so it's all good. It's white clean.
Dude, my controller's gonna get sticky when Paige releases on WWE 2K15 next week. Yeah, Paige
calm
gets
down,
released,
Slick.
and then I'll...
welcome to
And then I'll have
Slamcast,
my
Amanda.
release.
Welcome to Slamcast, where guys just want to fap over
This
posters.
is why we don't have other women on this show. Thank you. I apologize, madam, on their behalf.
Other
Yeah, the
I'm
last
sorry,
one.
Amanda.
the
I'm
last
not
one
going to
ran away
apologise. I
scared.
can't help it. Paige makes my funny bits go, well, funny. She's lovely.
I don't know who
She's
she
adorable.
is.
I want to have a steak dinner with her,
Well, and now
and I ain't talking about the
to
food.
our other special
Sorry.
guest of the show, Dave. Dave, there's someone that you might recognise. Paige's dad's on the show. No, I'm joking. Anyway,
Oh no, it's gonna hurt me.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
so
Sorry
we
about the creepy Paige moment of the week for 3 weeks running.
well, hopefully, yeah, road to fucking restraining order. WWE Tag Team Championship.
How
Like
far-
E because we're both English, and so it'll be good.
The Miz and
I was
Miz
about to say,
Dow.
how
That's my defense. Don't
The
hit
Miz-
me in the face
how
because we're both fucking from the same motherland.
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, how far is Norwich from Bristol?
Not that far. I think it's a kicking
Okay.
distance. So yeah,
Well, I
I'm
mean-
just gonna say.
Enough for her
He
with
could
her
get-
superhuman athletic abilities to jump through the air and land on my face like She-Hulk. Sorry.
Yeah. By the way,
Wow.
Dave, I'm sending a transcript of this episode to Paige's dad, just so you know. That's your Christmas present.
No,
Anyway,
please do not do that.
WWE Tag Team Championship match: The Miz and Damien Sandow versus the Usos.
He's allowed to beat me up as long as I can think of his daughter when he's doing it. That's my one stipulation.
Oh, Jesus.
Dave Wade, man who's
I think-
officially worse than Michael Burhan.
Oh, my Lord.
Does that mean I'm trying?
Yeah,
does that mean I bagged the creepy page moment of the week?
Yeah, dude, you've grabbed creepy page moment of the millennium. If
You,
it was a Slammy
you're quickly
Award,
making that yours, man. You're
Yeah.
quickly making that your gimmick, that's for sure.
Here's
if,
the
that,
It started out as
I mean, I
mine,
just
and
had
now
my-
it's...
if it was a cage, it would have fell on you.
It did, and her name was Paige.
Now, Nick, what were you saying? I think we just made Nick go silent. So yeah, tag team
Aye.
championships: Miz and Mizdow
Fuck.
versus the Usos. Miguel, who do you think's gonna win?
Between the Mizdow and the Usos,
Yeah,
I hate to say this because I'm a big fan of the Usos, and I did draft them obviously, but I think Mizdow's going to keep this going. They've got something, whether or not they realize it, with those two. The Usos, as much as I like them, and I do think that we're probably still going to get more matches out of these two. I think they've gotten the most out of them. I mean, they held on to those titles for God knows how long. I mean, what else can they do except maybe turn them heel? But it's not the time to do that.
You
Not
saying
at
they're
this
running
point.
out of credibility to
Not
still be-
credibility. No, not credibility, because they've been tag team champions for months now. It's just creatively, I don't know where you go with them except just having them do their own thing.
do you think
know,
Naomi's
it's
going to be a
just-
factor in that? In the fact of them losing?
What was that?
Do you think Naomi's going to be a factor in it?
Yes, I do
Obviously,
think that
I think that's going to be a factor.
yeah, it's obviously
I mean,
going to be a factor. I don't know if it's going to lead to a heel turn with her or what, but she's going to play into it. They've already established her in the storyline. They've established the fact that her and Jimmy, is it Jimmy or Jay, the one that she's married to?
She's married
one
to
of them.
Jay.
She's married to one of the
Okay,
twins. Imagine accidentally
'cause-
getting in bed with like Jimmy. I was like, I thought it was you, Jay.
Well, one is slightly... Here's how you can tell one of the Usos apart. One is slightly taller than the other.
And
they
one
call-
is
and
slightly
if-
bustier than the other
and
with
they
the Bella
call-
twins. I'm just saying.
Yes. And they call the big one Big Oos, and they call the little
call
one
the big
Little
one Big
Oos.
That sounds like
Yes,
age
that's how
references.
professional. That's how professional.
Age.
What was that, Amanda?
She's beautiful.
Yeah, Paige
I
is
You
know.
could be a poet, Brandon. By the way, you could be a poet with that.
Paige is
Well,
beautiful.
no, that's just how wrestling vernacular works, man. It's really simple. We just how we call people.
Yes. By the way, I'm gonna
He's-
talk about a wrestling road story in a little bit before we finish, just to end the show, to show how gay some wrestlers really are, and how fun. and
Well, I mean,
and
I
how-
have video proof of how some wrestlers really are.
yeah, and how fun. Apparently, these guys. Well, how far these guys will go to basically make a joke work. You'll see that in a little bit, to prank someone, and I'll tell you a little bit about it in a bit. Dave, Mizdow or the Usos?
Mr. Usos, no, not going to work.
Nick,
They got
Mizdow or
that's
Usos?
too much, and everything. So I think it's a natural given that it's going to go the other way.
Okay, Mizdow or Usos, Nick?
Damien fucking Mizdow and this guy named Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree with Nick. And this is what's so great about this is they're like selling it like Miz is like the most over one of the tag team when everybody the only thing anybody chances we want Miz down. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a guy taking absolutely nothing and then literally turning it into gold.
It is quite compelling, this tag team.
Genius. I think Damien Sandow, after this whole thing is done and this gimmick has worn itself out, give this guy a legitimate singles run because he proves that he could get anything over. He got the Miz over.
Follow the rainbow. He's at the end.
But saying that, everybody gets the Miz over apart from the Miz. Anyway, right back. Ryback versus Kane. I'm sorry, the Miz is so bland. He basically can watch paint dry. Actually, paint dry is more entertaining and it probably would get him over. Anyway, Ryback versus Kane.
Well, it's. Jeez, what's the gimmick behind this match though? This is the chairs match, right?
Yes, it's the chairs match, and
right.
You know what? I will say.
I wish they would. Speaking of chairs matches, I mean, this is going.
But
off
this match
totally
to
on
me
a
needs
side
no
tangent.
gimmick. I think this is just two blokes who are going to go fucking at it that everyone wants to see, and it needs no gimmick.
I think that's every Ryback match pretty much.
Yeah, and all I can.
Speaking of chairs,
He does what he says
matches,
it does on the tin, which is, I'm here, I fuck you up, that's how it works. No gimmicks needed.
Okay, so
I hurt you a lot.
Who's gonna go? Brandon, go.
No, I was going to say, I speaking of chairs matches, this is not going to be the best match involving a chair, because remember the electric chair match in WCW?
Oh, that was so over.
When they electrocuted Abdul the Butcher?
Oh my
When
God.
the switch fell
they
down,
didn't really.
and then you could,
Amanda, they didn't really.
you could see
they didn't
Foley,
really electrocute
Cactus
him.
Jack put it back up.
Yeah.
It
It was one of those
Yeah, and
things.
they had him there like convulsed in the chair. Yeah, such a great. So
Ew.
anytime I think of a chairs match, that's what I think of. I think of the electric chair match of death.
Every time I think of a chair, I remember getting my haircut.
Instead of giving,
I think Ryback
people
wins
infections.
because obviously they're fucking pushing Ryback to make to be a big heel, or big face. So yeah,
Well,
Ryback is gonna.
all I need to say is
Ryback's gonna
he'll be as dumb as fuck to this. Anyway,
I'm sorry,
I'm taking
Glenn.
dumb as fuck.
I'm sorry, Glenn. I hit you with that chair. I'm just dumb as fuck.
Nick, who do you think's going
I'm
over?
hungry. Feed me more. That's my Ryback impersonation. There you go. Feed me more.
You do the same
Oh my
impression as Al
god, you just
Snow.
turned into a little shop of horrors.
Oh god.
Actually, there's a little bit of Jabba the Hutt in that too, by the way.
Nick,
Ho, 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 ho.
Nick, Ryback or Kane?
Vota, solo, jabba, konnichiwa, nipple pinch.
Bring me Solo Chone Wookie.
Jesus.
For God's sake, Nick, please save me. Who do you think, Kane or Slowback?
Dumb as fuck.
Miguel, Ryback or Kane?
I gotta go with the big guy on this one. Kane. There's no reason for Kane to win this one. He's kind of in the same boat Big Show is for me. Like he could lose every matchup moving
he's
forward.
He's basically just an enhancement talent at this point in his career.
Yeah, but
And I think he knows
And there's
that.
nothing-
He's worked the role. He does the role very well. I love corporate.
Yeah,
Kane. I can't wait for Safari.
there's nothing
Kane
wrong with that.
and-
just Safari.
Malibu Kane.
Yeah, I mean, in Kane's defense, he's done everything there could be. I mean, he's probably the longest tenured wrestler in WWE right
he's
now.
the longest. Him and Undertaker. I don't know if you want to count the Undertaker.
Are we
but,
going to see turkey suit wearing Kane?
But he's the longest. Yeah, I mean, for Christ's sakes, this guy was.
Are they the
Isaac
two
Yankem
longest blokes on the
DVS.
books?
Do you know what?
Really? Are they
New
the two
gimmick.
longest people on the books?
I've got
Yeah.
it. I've got it. New Kane gimmick. Turkish Kane. He comes out all oily and having like
you
a
just
plate of
want to be
Turkish
Turkish Kane's manager. You're not thinking about Kane's creative. You're just trying to get yourself over, brother. I know
And-
you.
Kane Delight.
I'll steal his spotlight. I'll fucking Mizdow that gimmick. Anyway,
You want to be the Runjin Singh to get the Turkish Kane.
We need to do an episode like that. Give Burhan a gimmick.
I just gave him a gimmick. He's a wealthy Turkish billionaire. There you go.
yeah. And who doesn't speak
He's
a word of
Turkish Alberto Del Rio. Yes! Yes! You have to be just like
Burhan, can
you got to grow your chest hair out a little more.
Yeah.
Wear like those shirts like The Rock used to wear in the '90s.
I'll tell you what, our t-shirt arsenal is rapidly growing.
Can you be as dumb as fuck to this? Basically my catchphrase will be I will be your Turkish delight.
Yes, yes, brother, that is gold. That is nothing
Do it
but
with an
gold.
accent.
Book it. Book it.
Go with an
Book
action, Mr. Byrne. Make it
And
a
they
promo.
think I'm bad at booking. Right, and now going from that, guys, that would be TLC. What are your opinions? Leave your comments and tell us what you think.
We didn't do Bray Wyatt and Dean
shit,
Ambrose.
yeah, we didn't. Sorry, the most important
How
match.
we forget? And Seth Rollins, John Cena, duh.
Yes, the other most important match. Maybe it's because we're just as dumb as fuck to this. Right. And
We
so,
just got kicked in the head.
So, Brandon, let's talk about Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt. Why is this so important?
Dude, these guys are gonna tear the house down again. I don't think anybody in this show doubts that. I don't know who's gonna go over because I don't care, because no matter who goes over, we the fans win, because we're gonna see two guys in the prime of their career, two young lions, as I like to say, trying to make a name for themselves. It's more so Bray Wyatt, I think, at this point in time, because I think everybody who watches the product knows.
It's safe to say this is the poster bill, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I mean, Cena Rollins gets the main event bill. That's going to go on last, but I would not want to follow whatever these two guys are going to pull out of their heads in this match.
They're lycra pants.
I mean, obviously, the governor is going to be on them a little bit. They're not going to be able to, there's not going to be no 20-foot ladder spots like Jeff Hardy in WrestleMania 2000, which, I mean, we're going to really be deprived of that great JR cough.
Are you saying they're going to
Oh
guard
my
them?
God! Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, we saw in the TLC match with Rollins and Ambrose that, they obviously limited what they were able to do, because obviously I bet you those guys wanted to go through the cage.
Oh my God, he's dumb as fuck to this. Those brain cells have a family.
Don't do it, kid. Don't do it. You got a career to think about. Anyway,
I have to tell
Oh
you about
God,
the
King,
future.
he's got.
No, Dean.
Stop
I
the
have to
match.
tell you
He's
about
got a
your future.
family.
yeah, I mean, so these guys are gonna tear it down. I don't care who wins, man. I really don't. I would like to see Ambrose win just because I like to see him keep that momentum, but I think Bray Wyatt is going to have one of those performances.
This isn't the main event, but cough behind scenes.
But this is going to be the match that everyone's going to talk about. Yeah, this is going to be
Yeah.
the Steamboat Savage match.
It's the main event that dare we not say aloud being the main event, because bottom line is it is, and they know it is, and it's what people want to watch. But we can't actually give them top billing because of contractual.
I mean, unless Sting comes back again, which I don't think they're going to go to the well 2 months in a row with that thing.
I'd happily watch another one if it's on par with the last one.
But that's what I'm saying. This is gonna be match of the night, folks.
So let's
I
go.
think.
Let's go to you, Nick.
I'm going
Who
to
do you
take
think?
Ambrose.
Ambrose, Miguel.
I'm gonna go Ambrose on this one. I think that they've. I don't know. They've kind of soured on Bray. I think Bray's just kind of there. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. If the reports are to be believed, I don't think they're gonna start rebuilding Wyatt until probably Royal Rumble. So I could see
when
him.
the Undertaker comes back. You guys saw that meme it got posted on our wrestling forum where they basically decrypted the Undertaker's return, that he's going to be back at WrestleMania because there's some WWE social media account that's about the day of the Royal Rumble and he is risen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So unless they sign Jesus as a wrestler and they've
Well, there's
That-
new.
that
well,
fact-
I think the Observer said that the
I thought
plan
it
is
was
now
gonna be
to.
Ascension.
I think I read something in the Observer that they've got the plan is for Bray Wyatt to be penciled in for the Undertaker, which we can talk about that somewhere down the line. I'd rather not go into it now because I think
we kind of said it that we don't really need to see it. Well, I'm not going to decline it as a wrestling fan. That's going to be a great match to watch. I don't need to see it.
Is it? Is it? Because
Yeah.
Lesnar
It's all right.
versus Taker was terrible.
I don't know. It still gave us that. We're still talking about it, even though the match was not as technically.
We're still talking
great
about
as
the
it could have
ending,
been.
but not the matchup itself.
We're still talking exactly. Well, we still saw it. I mean, I think the match itself was lackluster because it had to have that ending. I mean, Undertaker couldn't look real strong in that match if he was going to lose. So I mean,
No,
Lesnar
think-
had to destroy him.
Even so, I think Undertaker really looked his age in that matchup. I think that more than any other matchup. Usually Taker is able to rise above his age and really pull out a 5-star performance. Really not so much in this one. It was okay, but it wasn't Undertaker quality, and it's really hard, given the guy doesn't wrestle anywhere else except WrestleMania, to see Taker in not 5-star quality. Anything below that just seems like kind of a cop-out by comparison.
So, Mr.
Fair
Longboy, are we going to see Bray Wyatt or Ambrose?
Ambrose.
Ambrose.
Ambrose. So Miguel Ambrose, Nick Ambrose, Mr. Longboy Ambrose, Mr. Liggian, Ambrose or Wyatt?
I think it's. You know what? I think Wyatt gets his revenge, man. I think Wyatt gets his revenge.
Right, moving on from that, let's go to our final match in the card, which will be our main event, which is John Cena versus Seth Rollins. There has been rumours that Randy Orton may be coming back to make this match basically a...
Do you hear voices in your head? Do you hear voices in your head telling you that?
They're telling me to wet the bed. They're telling me to wet the bed. And shit in a bag. Anyway, Mr. Host of Hosts, do you feel...
Anyway, like I said, I've been pretty clear on how I felt about this whole gimmick or this whole storyline, how it's gonna pan out. Obviously, Rollins is winning this match, folks. Let's just face it. Rollins is winning this match, whether it's gonna be clean or there's gonna be a schmoz kind of dusty finish. I mean, obviously it's preordained, Dave. It's professional wrestling, but I just think this is the creative, man. This is the.
Well, I will say my limited knowledge of this match is it's preordained in the sense that it was never going to go any other way.
Exactly. As soon as they mention the fact that Cena's the only guy that can bring the Authority back into power, come on.
They
He's
need to
absolutely
as well,
going to
because
use that
things are getting really
as a
stale
means to get
really
to the
quickly.
WWE title, and this is the start of that.
Yeah.
The question is, though, how do you do that without Cena
turning heel,
looking like a heel?
Yeah.
I think at this point in time, it doesn't matter if the people are going to boost Cena or are going to boost Cena regardless.
It's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, but to
It is
be
11
fair,
o'clock.
though, there was no reason for people to boo Cena. Now you have a reason for them to boo. I don't know. I think they're playing a dangerous game in this one. If that is the way that they're going to go, where they're going to have Cena kind of side with the Authority in order to get something out of it, I don't know how you could do that without coming off as a heel.
Yeah.
With Cena, it's always been very cut dry.
So let's ask.
I actually know who Cena is.
Oh my
I've seen
God!
it
I know.
before.
Go on, Amanda.
Looks like one of
You saw
those,
that? You saw that great Foot Locker commercial?
I don't know what it was, but he looks like one of those douchebags, like down by the river that try to buy me drinks all the time. You know,
Why are you hanging out at a river, by the way?
You hang out with guys like that look like John Cena. Do they try and win? LOL.
Anyway.
I would take the drink and then I would push them slowly into the river.
Anyway,
saying.
Brandon says trying to move on the conversation because it clearly makes him uncomfortable.
what?
Sorry.
Why?
Can I ask one more question? Did they try the attitude adjustment? Sorry, go on.
Titmouse. Curly, straight. Anyway.
Do you know what the sad thing is? I muted this conversation about 15 minutes ago and actually found the clip of that Simpsons joke online, watched it, and then quietly chuckled to myself and just went, titmouse. Sorry.
Anyway, right, so basically we're all in a unanimous decision that Rollins is going to win this match.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Miguel, explain your reasons.
Because of the fact that if Cena loses his, if Cena loses, he loses his shot at the title. Like I said, I don't see any way that they could really pull that off without Cena looking like a heel, and I don't think WWE wants to really play that game. I think if it was any other way that he didn't lose his title shot, then yeah, I'd say Rollins has a shot. But I don't know. I just don't see them diverging from Cena or Lesnar. I mean, right now that's the biggest matchup they can do right at the moment. And honestly, it makes more sense story-wise to have Randy Orton cost Seth Rollins the matchup as opposed to costing John Cena, because Rollins was the one that put Orton kayfabe on the shelf. So it makes sense that he would cost Rollins the matchup, and that would lead to a Rollins Orton matchup down the line.
Amanda, do you agree with Miguel on this one?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Awesome sauce. Let's.
So when you buy the river, what beer do they buy you? Just curious.
What I will say is TLC tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs and boobies. Oh my! Maybe the great pay-per-view.
Was that a Predator 2 quote?
Yes, it was. And it may be a great pay-per-view, may not be. I don't think it's going to be NXT Takeover or Evolution.
Hell
It's
no.
going to be a catalyst for the next step. Let's be honest. It's a precursor to setting up another story or event. That's what this is. Call me a cynic, but that's what this is.
So basically, guys, let us know your opinions. Let us know your thoughts. Stay tuned for us next week when we actually talk about the pay-per-view a little bit more. We may just brush past it like Brandon brush passes any awkward topics. And
I actually have one question that, because you may have talked about it before, but I'm late to the party tonight because obviously I don't know. Well, it's England. I run on donkey piss, but I don't know how to set an alarm clock. Is there any resolvement for this fucking travesty that is, Sky in WWE Network right now?
Soon.
Because I checked it on the internet and it just said coming. Literally, it said that coming soon. I'm like, well, no, you already promised me it and it didn't happen. So what the fuck's going? I'd rather you told me something about me knowing what's going on than just saying, "Sit tight, my pretty, it will happen." Because right now I can't see it happening and it's pissing me off.
right, so going on from that, Mr. Host, we need our Iron Sheet tweet of the week.
All right, the Iron Sheik tweet of the week, and boy, do I have a good one for you this week because I really thought I kind of phoned it in last week. I really just kind of picked a hashtag that I thought I liked. It was kind of sparing going, but
Never phone it
so
in.
all right. Before I go into the greatest tweet from the greatest living Iranian, I would be sorely remiss if I didn't put over his movie, which you can watch available now on Vimeo.com, called The Sheikh. The real, the legend, break your back and make your humble. I don't know if that's the official working title. It could just be called The Sheik. That's just the poster. But yeah, I totally am.
That's what it should say.
I am totally gonna check that movie out as soon as I have the whatever $5 or whatever that it costs to do it. But this one, I think this tweet
in the same statement. By the way, do you know that?
yeah, it did.
It's amazing.
I'm
But
gonna watch it as
I
soon.
got $5.
I don't have the money to watch it at this point in time. That's a real statement, man. It's soon.
People,
very
just
soon.
$1
I will
a
watch
week.
it.
Just don't
Brandon.
buy anything from the McDonald's value menu or any games for
You
the
have
next
to pay
week.
to watch these things.
So it's his movie that he tried to make. That he,
It's like being by the river,
Try
but not
to-
in bear form, but in movie form.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked from my fucking bit here. This is a fucking good one. This tweet stands alone from all other Iron Sheik tweets this week. Rusev take piss sitting down. Wipe his cock like a rooster. #Slammy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your Iron Sheik tweet of the week.
If I can find the file. Oh, the file's missing! No!
Fucking bullshit!
There you go.
There you
you
go.
Do that. No, you gotta do that again because we didn't hear it.
Okay. Go on, Brandon. Say it again.
And that was your Iron Sheik tweet of the week.
Fucking bullshit!
Okay?
God, I love that man. Love
I
him.
do too.
Love him to death.
But he's not Michael Fassbender.
Well, I mean, Michael Fassbender holds a special place in my heart, but
in the cockles of your heart.
the Iron Sheik is the greatest living Iranian. That's all I'm gonna say.
So, ladies and gents,
Okay,
we are
can you
now...
just do it, Brandon? Can you say Iranian? Because it's Iranian, it's not Iranian.
Alright,
The
Miguel,
greatest
we're gonna-
living Iranian. What did I call
Thank
him?
you.
Iranian?
Yes.
Iranian.
Now, now say Iraq, not Iraq. Say Iraq.
Iraq. I've always called it Iraq.
Nikki Bella has a great
I've
Iraq.
got a list of words I want you Americans to say right now and just prove me wrong.
Hey, I speak the Queen's English. I speak the Queen's
Now
English.
say
Okay?
now say aluminium.
Aluminium. I've said aluminium before. Amanda can vouch for that. I've said aluminium before.
Okay. Well, I love to
One
be
more,
talking
one
about
more,
this
then after I
debate,
have
Dave.
man. Say petrol. It's not gasoline. It's
Petrol.
petrol.
Okay, Dave.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, Ian.
Yeah, there
My
we
Dave,
go.
Dave,
brother-in-law
Dave.
Let's go to Miguel. Miguel, you were going to say something before Dave started grammar
Yes,
Naziing
yes.
everyone.
Sorry, I'm
Yes,
a wanker.
Yes, Dave. Dave, soccer.
Oh, you fucking knobtard.
Hey, Dave and I. Actually, speaking of the beautiful game, Dave and I are going to be not friends this come Sunday morning. So,
Oh god,
there's that.
I really wish I could fucking Skype you during this.
Well, you
We'll,
could do.
we'll figure out something. We'll figure out something.
We need to do a commentary
Don't
on a soccer match. Because
On the soccer.
did you see right, they got knocked out of fucking Europe. Did you see Gerard's sexy fucking free kick?
Yeah, well, we'll
Look
see.
it up, look it up. See,
We'll-
none of you
third in the
fucking
league.
Manchester United whores can do shit like that.
So he did a sexy kick
We're-
bits.
He bent it over the wall like a sexy biscuit motherfucker.
It was Beckham-esque, if you will.
It was fucking beyond Beckham. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Stevie G, but even I looked at it and just went, why have you been hiding this your entire
So-
career?
He's
Mr.
He's
Lawn
quality,
Boy, Mr.
that's all
Dave
I'll
Wade,
say.
let's ask you, what are you currently doing at the moment? Because we're going to the plugs, it's 4 a.m. in the morning, and I want to go and hang myself. So, Dave, what are you doing at the moment?
I actually have a Pickups in the Wild video coming tomorrow.
Yay! Oh, we've still got that talkie video.
I've
that we're
actually
supposed to
already
do.
dubbed myself over the top of my Pickups in the Wild bit, so Google doesn't stick a fucking fork up my ass and say, I'm going to put fucking adverts all over your videos because you're a cunt. Oops, sorry, Banda, you didn't hear that word. Bad word, never mind.
I really don't care.
I say it to her all the time. I don't.
And I have to say, Nick, I told Mr. Byrne about this, but I'm quite impressed that I bought this, even though everyone laughed at me, especially in the shop. I bought TNA Impact on the Wii.
Wow.
And dumb twat
On the
in the
Wii.
shop said, "You do know that that's an old game." Really, dickhead?
It's on the
really?
fucking
Because
Wii,
it's
of course
£2.
it's an old game.
I thought it came out last
Dude,
week.
I paid
The only reason I
$60
say you do know
for
it's
a
a
brand new
shit
day
job.
one.
Nick, you
Is
paid
it
too
crap?
I
much.
reviewed it on my channel.
Yeah, that was a bit too much.
I'll go and
for
check it out after this. But
60
yeah, no, I
bucks.
just remember buying it in the store. I've been having like a bad couple of days. Actually, I've been having an amazing week. Burhan knows, but we won't go into that. But I've had a bad couple of days with like sleep problems and shit. And my mum's quite good at that. And she goes, "I know what'll cheer you up. Let's take you retro shopping." I'm like, "Thanks, Mum. You're
know what,
awesome."
Dave?
And then I
The
did
reason-
like little heel kick thingy you do when you're in a Disney movie.
The,
I know,
the
yeah,
real
went to
reason
the store
why
and just
Dave
went,
is so
"Oh,
happy,
TNA
guys,
Impact
I'm
for
going to reveal it.
£2.
I'm going to
And the
reveal
bloke at
it.
the counter just went, "You do know it's old."
I'm going to
You're
reveal
a
it.
second-hand store. There's nothing fucking new in this store, you dickhead. Of course it's fucking old.
I've got to reveal it, Dave. I'm sorry. The reason why Dave is so happy is because he bought a fleshlight. Along with that poster
Good
of
for-
Paige.
Good for him. Yeah, good for him. Someday I'm gonna have the balls to walk into a store and buy one, but it ain't gonna be today.
So
No,
those
I
are
get
really...
it.
What now?
You trade games, and I traded it, and I don't know how it works over there with like GameStop and stuff, but in Pink Planet, when you trade stuff, they basically go like, "I'll give you loads of money in store, but if you want cash, I will give you fuck all." And I'm like,
Yeah, that's
"Oh,
how it
look,
works
let's-"
here for GameStop.
And I'm like, "Lord, let's see what you got." And I just remember thinking, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to get the most out of my fucking, trade I've got. And I just bought a bunch. And, people, you can laugh, but I still think the Wii's a really good console. And plus I like playing Wii games on my Wii U because it upscales them. And so I went batshit crazy and bought loads of stuff. And they're all Wii games apart from one Wii U game. And I have to say this. I got the first season of Magnum PI for £2.
That man has an
Nice.
epic mustache. Though that thing is just amazing. Now, Dave, we've still got
Oh, and I
to...
bought Transformers the movie as well for 50p.
Oh, that's so awesome.
The good movie, not
Wait a
shit.
minute, which?
The good
okay,
one.
I was gonna
With Leonard
say.
Nimoy.
I love the fact that it's synonymous with people who, are real Transformer fans. When you say, not the shit ones, they go, "Oh, you're talking about the animated one, aren't you?"
So,
Yes, I am.
Dave, we've still got a joint video to do, haven't we?
Yes, Christmas. Me and Mr. Byrne are going to do a Christmas vloggy waffle together.
There we go. And Mr. Liggian, you're last. Nick, What are you doing at the moment apart from like buying shitty games for 60 quid?
That was 6 years ago, but yeah, you can find me over on YouTube at the Gaming Pegasus 187, on Twitter at Gaming Pegasus 187. I mean, playing a lot of WWE 2K15. I think I'm gonna do some more streaming, probably maybe tomorrow afternoon or Sunday for sure. I'm not sure when, but yeah. Find me over on Twitch at Pegasus 187. I'll give
by the way,
updates
I haven't
when
added you in on my Wii U yet, by the way, but I will totally add you in, and we need to get some Smash Bros on the go.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
I currently have that
Just
as well.
got I just got the Mario Kart 8 DLC too, so I've been playing that and enjoying it.
Burhan, me and you should do a video where we smash Bros. See what I did there?
That's a good idea. And Mr. Miguel
On this
Leon.
day, I see clearly what you did there.
That's just no. Anyway, Miguel.
All right, boys. If you like what you hear on Fridays here with me, you should hear what I have to say about movies every Wednesday night on the Untitled Movie Show on the Retro Unlim Network channel on YouTube. We do a live show. I am happy. Were we one of the first shows to go live on YouTube?
Yes, we were.
For the Retro Unlim Network?
We were the first show to go live on YouTube on
What
the
was
Retro
that?
Unlim Network. We were the first show to go live on the Retro Unlim Network, and it was the Untitled Movie Show.
I will now use that in every plug that I do. The first show to go live on the Retro Unlim channel on YouTube, the Untitled Movie Show, every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Our last episode we just did had Mr. Brandon Liggian on there as a special guest where we talked about trailers and all of the news that came out within the last month. And next week, and I've already talked to the guys about doing this, next week is going to be a Matrix retrospective. We're going to be discussing the three movies in the Matrix.
So happy. Sorry.
Yep, we're going to be discussing the Matrix trilogy and all of its ancillary bits and pieces here and there, and I'm going to try to
talk
get
Animatrix as well.
Yes.
Are we talking expanded universe?
We'll be talking the Matrix trilogy, the Animatrix, and Enter the Matrix.
And also, we've got to also talk about the new Matrix movies that are going to be coming out.
What new Matrix movie?
Wait, what?
They're in negotiations to actually release a new Matrix
Oh,
movie.
for fuck's sake, is nothing sacred?
Wait a minute.
Starring Keanu Reeves.
Starring me,
What was
because
that?
as you know, I am
Starring
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Hold on, Burhan. I haven't heard anything about this.
We'll
Starring
talk more
who?
about that when I give you the article. I'll send you the article because I read it
Yeah.
online. It was
Send me the article. I'm gonna have to read that. But yeah, this coming Wednesday night we'll be discussing the Matrix trilogy, the Matrix series, and I'll be trying to get an old special guest to come over. I don't want to say yet because I haven't asked him, but tune into that this coming Wednesday and every Wednesday night after for the Untitled Movie Show, 8 p.m. on the Retro Unlim channel on YouTube.
And your Die Hard retrospective seems to be getting some good feedback as well, which is awesome.
Ooh, nice.
Awesome. You just added a G to the start of the word awesome.
And, yeah, it was me burping
It's like
in the middle of it.
it's as awesome as Travis Goss. It's Gossam.
It's awesome. Amanda, where can we find you? I think she's left the room.
Incredible
Not
Hulk
here,
music plays right now.
So, you can find me on this show and all the others on nerdgenius.com. Of course, the revamped site, it looks very sexy, biscuits. You can also check out the recent article.
You owe me 5p now. These are the rules.
The recent article, video log that I did from Play Expo. It's finally up after I had to get Mr. Lazy Retro Unlim, you know I'm talking about you, Steve, to upload the rest of the videos. You'll see my MCM videos in the next couple of days. I'm having a video upload on Sunday of Tales of Heart R. That's going to be my review on that game. I'm also going to be reviewing the Adventure Time game next Wednesday, which is the new one that's actually been released, Namco.
Yeah, I saw it came out. I didn't know it came out. I saw it the other day in the supermarket. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Namco Bandai gave me a review copy to review, so I'm going to do that. And also on Monday, hopefully, if I can get these two in the same room at the same time, I'll have Nick Horacek and Brandon reviewing WWE 2K15 with me. I'll talk about the PlayStation 3 copy, and the other gents here are going to be talking about the Xbox One copy that they have. So it's going to be very, very awesome.
Because we're poor.
And last but not least...
And I'll be giving some insight into the 360 version as well.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because, you know, you're rich, but
last but not
for a
least,
moment there, you were poor like us.
I rented it.
You You're almost working class for a moment. Oh,
Last but
Margaret
not
Thatcher
least-
would not be happy.
Mr. Brandon Liggian, our host of hosts, sign us off.
All right. Well, obviously, if you like me, you could find me on the Twitter machine at
Say
@Brandon.
titmouse.
Hope you hit me
one
up on
more
your
time.
titmouse.
Sorry.
We're grown-ups, folks.
Now I can't stop laughing. Sorry. Brandon All Hope on the Twitter. Apparently nothing on your Instagrams. Brando Calrissian 420 on your Twitch. I do some Twitch streaming sometimes.
Plug the article. Plug the
Go
article.
Army, beat Navy. Support independent wrestling. It's out there. Somewhere in your local hometown, in your local high school gymnasium, in your local VFW hall, in your local armory, in your local bingo hall, in your local Knights of Columbus venue. There are people with a dream and a ring, and they're just trying to do their thing, man. So you could be seeing this next star of tomorrow, basically, and you could say, "Hey, I saw that guy when he was nothing."
You think they start? They don't start from fucking.
Exactly, man. Wrestlers, as much as Vince McMahon would like you believe, wrestlers do not grow on trees, man. They are the true grit is
You do not
is
pick them when they
forged.
are right.
No, the true grit and the truly worthy are forged in the fires of independent wrestling, in the local scene, hitting the towns, selling them gimmicks, getting over.
Yeah, and if you're
heel,
lucky
working
enough,
face.
a giant fence will fall on you.
A giant fence will fall on you.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I didn't say all the wrestlers that helped put up that fence were all competent workers. Normally, when in
Can I work in a plug
actual-
off the back of what you're saying, Mr. Liggian, as well? By the way,
Yes, go for
I
it.
genuinely mean this, people. It's a really shit TV channel. It really is. This is Bristol.
Support British wrestling.
But every
Yes.
Saturday night there is an absolutely amazing run of the TV show for an hour long. That is basically it's the sum up of all the independent
They're
wrestling.
playing the theme
and
song. They're playing the theme song, Dave. Let's go. Bring it home. You gotta learn how to get quick with it, bro. Get quick. In and out. 30 seconds. Come on.
That's exactly what she said.
Saturday night, people.
Oh!
This is Bristol. Round up of British
There you go.
independent wrestling on This is Bristol.
Boom.
Fucking love
All
it.
right.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. That's for that. So that's for everybody. So for Nick Horacek, for Miguel Leon, for Mr. Dave Wade, for the lovely Miss Amanda O'Shea, for Mr. Michael Burhan, I'm Brandon Liggian. Go forth and spread beauty and light, peace, love, and humptiness to all.
Paige, call
Yeah.
me.
Go Army, beat Navy.
Twitter.com/SSShow.
This show is sponsored by Dave Wade's Creepiness. If you're Paige or any of her family members, please do not go near this man. He hides in your bushes, he lurks in your cars, he hides in your fish tanks, and he is
I only
ready
hide in Paige's bush. But
for that
apparently she
restraining
doesn't have
order.
one.
Mr. Knight, your heat is not with me.
This show is also sponsored by El Patreon, the new aftershave for men. If you smell a bit funky,
No, you're going in a good place with this. Where you were going.
if you smell a bit
That was a
funky,
good one.
if you feel like you're in immigration's clutches and you want to smell differently, smell El Patreon, the aftershave for the Mexicano, for the men, for the mustachio, for the lucha. Alberto Del Rio's gay. What?
Oh man.
The show is also sponsored by Vince McMahon's testicles. The biggest
Someone
things
just
on the
raped
planet.
their microphone.
What?
I said someone just raped them.
Yeah,
This show is sponsored by someone just raping their microphone.
This show is also sponsored by Dave's Fleshlight, which actually looks like a microphone.
Actually, it looks like my penis, but get it right.
What's with the flashlight?